talk about?
How y'all doing?
I'm alive, I guess.
But how y'all doing, like, spiritually?
Oh, you know me, big old spiritual Polly. That's what everybody calls me.
I just got back from Endgame.
You're gonna drop all the spoilers, right?
Yep, just right
Yep.
here.
Just do it. Just straight up,
People
unabashed.
just fucking murder me.
No fucking warning. Just like I'll be in the middle of talking about something and just drop a fucking hot one right in the middle of it.
I'm not going to do that. John, when are you seeing this movie?
Probably Tuesday.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about it.
Oh my god, I want to talk to somebody about
And
it.
then I'm free.
I looked at the thread on Reset Era about it, and people are just arguing over the stupidest shit. And I'm like, oh, come on, guys.
Excellent. Yeah, that makes sense. Who's Sour Raisin? New friend.
Sour raisin. I know that name. I swear to God, I do.
So not a new friend. Old
People
friend.
having
Old, shriveled up
8
friend.
different names. Yo, seriously, I have a car. I don't call it 27 different other things.
A sofa! Okay.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
See, I thought I remembered
like I said,
that.
old, used up friend that we don't
Yeah.
care about.
Oh my God.
No, wait.
That was
Not
not
like-
very nice, John Thayer.
No,
That was a
'Cause I
very
started off-
mean thing to say.
because I started off with like, oh, new friend. Someone new, fresh blood. Nope. Oh, no, we
Oh,
know
no, just the same old boring people that are always here.
Because that's what we really want for the Sockscast, is for just to explode and have a bunch of strangers in the chat.
Oh, yeah, that'd go real well, wouldn't it?
That's really the vibe we're going for,
Yeah.
right?
Just a bunch of weird randos show up one day.
I mean, we keep, like, refining it every episode, trying to find, like, the match that'll really make it accessible to a wider audience. But it just hasn't made it there yet. We just
Oh,
need to keep
we'll get it.
experimenting.
Don't worry. I have a fucking mouse in my house.
Cool.
I'm
Get a cat.
angry. I'm angry. I'm
Want a cat?
fucking angry. So I got like a bunch of mouse traps set up in the kitchen.
Cool.
I hope I hear one go off just like during the podcast, so I
Excellent.
can be like, "Got you, motherfucker!"
Excellent.
And then you drop an Endgame spoiler.
And then yeah, I'll drop an in-game spoiler. I'll have
You
to
just
look
shout
them
it
up.
at the. You just shouted at the mouse.
Yes.
Are they like
You'll
the-
die knowing this as you writhe while your neck is broken, you little fuck.
Oh, good. You got the violent ones.
Oh, I got the real violent ones. Yeah,
Cool.
I step
had,
on that
like-
motherfucker. It's Dunzo, son.
Yep. We got like a sticky mouse traps. Like, oh, this is nice.
Those
But, like,
can
no,
be even more gruesome because they'll
Oh,
gnaw their
yeah.
they'll gnaw their fucking paws off to get out.
It was the worst because like those are sticky, and then we had like a mouse like was pregnant and got stuck on one,
Oh!
and then they had a bunch of little mouse babies on the trap.
Oh my,
Oh my
fucking
God.
I
Alright,
can't.
That's-
Or great people.
Wow, it's not counting like the rabbit you let rot to pieces.
I told that story again like a week ago at brunch.
Lovely. I bet everybody was just thrilled. I'm glad
we
we
did
have it
that.
archived as part of the Sockscast because that's a moment.
That is an important moment. I feel like that's when I stopped caring.
Quite obviously.
Just sanctity of life was like, well, nope.
Eh.
Eh,
Eh. Ah,
good time.
yeah, we have fun. Just,
Yeah.
just good old family Sockscast fun.
Yep, talking about animals in pain.
And then there was the episode where you all inadvertently turned it into "Let's kill dogs" with chocolate.
Oh
What the fuck is wrong with you people? What kind of following have I garnered over the years?
Everyone likes animals and pets so much. I feel like there needs to be some people who will just take them down a peg. You know? Like Kirby. Like everyone said, "Oh, dogs, that's so great. Ooh, a cat, that's so cute. Ooh, Kirby, that's so great." Someone needs to be there that's just like, meh.
Someone needs to be there that needs to be the joyless, spiritless,
Meh.
curmudgeon.
That was the context of the conversation. Was I was like putting my hand on this friend's shoulder and being like, "If you want to get rid of your cats, you can."
Good lord! I imagine you having this anime twinkle in your eye as you say that.
Oh my god, John is the anime best friend.
Is there context there? Is that just a general trope?
It's like a trope in, him harem anime.
Oh, gotcha.
The main character always has that one best friend who like supports him getting these girls for some inexplicable reason. You're that guy.
Yeah, you are the
telling
shit
people
friend.
to ditch their pets.
Oh,
That's good. I missed y'all.
yeah.
It's been a bit.
It's been a bit because we delayed twice.
It's been exactly a month because we had Sayara on March 29th, I want to say.
It was going to be 3 weeks between episodes because John was in Mexico and then you were sick last week.
Yeah, and then my neck broke last week.
I was pretty sick too, so that worked out. Okay.
Yeah, it definitely worked out.
Cool. Here, I'll link the chat now that we're past the pet death section. the normal.
Now
pet
that we're
death
past our usual routine of pet death and euthanasia,
I didn't say you kill the cats. I'm just saying if you don't.
This show is going places tonight, isn't it?
Yeah,
We are.
I got some good topics.
We got some great topics tonight. Welcome, everybody, to Sockscast, episode 93. Sockscast brought to you, as always, by Moon Pies. Moon Pies, snap into it!
Chomp.
That's how it goes, isn't it?
Yep.
Now, I'm not sure that the actual chocolate yellow cake with marshmallow filling disc makes a snap sound when you bite into
If it does, call a dentist.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, that probably wasn't the moon pie that made that sound. That was probably you.
God, that happened to me once, like eating applesauce. I was like, why crunch?
What
Why
happened?
crunch?
Yeah, that happened with me and ice cream once.
Oh, no.
Literally fucking ice. Well, I have a weird bone thing going on with my teeth, and it's inherited from birth. So my teeth are kind of brittle and sensitive. So yeah, I was eating ice cream once, and I was just like, I didn't get nuts in this.
Oh, no.
And half of one of my back teeth broke off.
Oh.
And I am one of those very, very, very strict about flossing, brushing every day,
That
3 or 4
sucks.
times. So,
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
so that shit happens, and I'm like, wow, it really
Just
puts all that
fuck
effort.
everything.
Yeah, just all that effort you put in, fuck it, why bother? I should just let these things rot out, get some falsies, and just be okay.
Body Horror, the podcast, says
Yeah.
Colin. That was a good transition from pet death, I think.
Yeah, that's much more wholesome than pet death. Speaking of more wholesome than pet death, to my immediate virtual right, keys go here and fingers go here, but smart little buddies know they don't go here. It's Rhett.
Hi.
How's it going?
Endgame spoiler.
Endgame
spoiler. Oh,
Boom!
gotcha.
Just drops it out of fucking nowhere. Sniped the entire fucking chat right there.
You never saw it coming.
You'll never see it come.
Joker's Endgame, wow.
Wow. Never would have guessed.
It's actually every Joker, every character named Joker.
Every character ever named Joker, which
DC
is funny
Joker.
given that it's a fucking Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So you just got back from seeing that.
Yeah.
That was your
I
afternoon.
can't talk about that.
The
but it was good.
longest movie in human existence to hear you tell it.
It's pretty fucking long, honestly.
The Lord of the Rings
It
movies
doesn't
are 4
it still
hours.
went by quick, though, right?
It does go by quick, but by the end, I'm like, I have to pee. I was
pee
I was
and my
very
butt is
careful about
numb.
not drinking today, and I still have to pee.
Oh, no, I piss in every movie. I have to.
I know,
have
but I
to
knew-
get out.
With this one, it's like, okay, just be mindful of drinking,
Mhm.
aka don't do it. And by the end, I'm still like, I have to piss.
This is why I don't
No,
go to
because
theaters.
I have to balance it. Because if I'm in a movie theater and I get thirsty, that's also torture. And then there are times where I have to dash out of the movie theater to go to the water fountain or something.
Ugh.
So I have to drink water and then realize. So I just lose my. I just admit that I'm gonna go piss at some point, and I just accept it.
See, this is why you just do what I do. You have a 55+ inch TV, surround sound system, really comfy living room.
Oh, I know. I don't really like going to the movies.
Yeah, and you don't. And
This was.
I get to
this
hang out
was an
with the only
exception.
people that matter when I watch movies alone. so I don't have to deal with other people.
But this is the fucking event movie that you have to see opening weekend, basically.
It's like I have.
Because last time I didn't, and everyone just made fucking memes out of the ending 4 days later.
No, it was bad.
Yup.
I know what the meme is, but I have no idea what it means at all.
Please, 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 no one tell her. It's amazing that
don't
she
anybody
has
ever
this
tell
long.
me. I've never seen any of the Avengers movies, so...
Oh my god.
You're okay.
Like, the last Marvel movie I watched was the first Captain America movie.
Oh, okay.
I have
So you've seen some of the cinematic universe movies.
Yes, I have...
That was like the third one or something.
Like, I have 22. That. I have the Thor movies. I've just never watched them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's just like one of those rainy day things will come by where I'll just be like, hey, I'll watch that
oh, see, now it's a whole fucking saga of 22 films.
You can get through the first ones and watch the first Avengers and then bow out instead of being like us.
I think they get better, though, is the thing. I mean, you probably disagree. Like, I thought Winter Soldier was kind of where I hopped back on. I was like, okay, these are really good. And Phase 3 I thought was pretty solid.
Cool, that's fair.
But yeah, some of the origin stories, they do get samey. Like when Doctor Strange is just like, hey, it's Iron Man, but with magic.
Oh, good.
Yep. I cannot believe I saw Captain Marvel. That just happened.
I do not like any of the Iron Man movies.
Wow.
I've watched all three.
2 and 3 anyway, so.
I've watched all three, and I thought they were just like, I don't like this character at all.
Even the first one?
Even the first one. I liked it. I liked it the most.
Yeah, everyone's like, what happened to 2 and 3? But like,
2 and 3 are
everyone
garbo.
stands for 1.
Yeah. I don't like 2 or 3 at all.
I can't believe that the whole thing took off after Iron Man 2 was apparently so bad. I've never seen that one.
It's just kind of like, oh, what? All right. Like, even like, it's like Thor 2, Avengers 2, where it's just like, it just leaves no trace in your brain as opposed to being like offensive.
I forgot about Avengers 2. I've never seen Thor 2 either.
You're fine.
I think Thor 2 is the one that's like below fine.
Oof.
From the way everybody jokes about it.
I don't know. I mean, no, I said you're fine to
the
not
Thor
see
character seems great. The Thor character...
yeah,
that's the thing. He's gotten way better with Thor 3 and then the new ones.
Yeah.
Or the Avengers new ones.
I like the first Thor. I like most of those first movies, so...
Oh my god, I forgot. I changed my fucking sub sound effects.
What just happened?
What is it?
Oh no.
In the podcast now?
It's a podcast now. It's just a big old ripping fart.
Well, you didn't have to say what it was because I knew it was going to be a fart.
Oh, I did not expect that. Just right in my head.
That's just saying we've been talking about Marvel movies too long.
Yep. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Taylor, for the subscription. To my immediate virtual left, he legally changed his middle name to Hyman. It's John Thayer.
What? That one got me.
I don't know. It's the first thing that popped in my head, John.
Hi.
Man. How's it going?
I'm doing well.
How's that new middle name working out for you? Oh my god. Stop it.
It's in honor of the games I play that make a really big fucking deal out of Hymens, apparently.
Apparently.
It's a lot of those for some reason.
I forgot I did that. It happened again.
You're still laughing about the fart?
No, it happened again. It's like you all don't hear it, but I do. Because the alerts are on my end. Oh, how's that?
Oh my god, we broke her.
It really got you?
I can't.
If you ever wonder how funny she finds farts, this is evidence. And it's very funny.
Yeah, it was funny enough for me to dig out that old Sora no Woto clip that I did.
Oh my god.
Back in 2010.
I hate that show is so old. What happened?
I hate that show is so old, and I hate that show is so underappreciated.
Yeah, but I'm like, that thing's 10 years old now. What the fuck?
That show's older than 10 years old because I think it was 2008.
No, it aired at like January 10. You made that probably immediately.
I don't think we watched that immediately.
I did.
I didn't.
Googling.
No, that was. I absolutely remember that was winter 10, and Monica was the next year in 11.
All right.
So is that just barely? Yeah, it's 2010. I wonder if that's just barely pre-John era.
Like John,
The Dark
I think
Times.
pre-John. Let's see, like you, like it. I could just go to my anime list profile.
We don't need
and
to.
look.
Though. We don't need to go down that
Jeez.
hole again.
We don't want to go down that hole for like the third time.
Like 7th.
I'm pretty sure it was 2010 when.
Oh, you were
started
7?
talking, though. Yeah, he was 7.
I remember 2010 was when I started posting on SMPS.
Yeah.
What's that?
As a old forum that nobody goes to anymore because it's dead.
Because it's not there anymore.
So John, before the stream literally killed me, I was asking how you were doing.
I'm doing very well.
You ready
I feel
for
good
a
today.
You ready for a podcast?
Yeah, I walked out in the sun. I thought about things I was going to talk about in the podcast, like I do while I'm walking by the beach, I guess.
That's a good thing to do. That's a good thing to
Like,
do.
oh, yes.
Wait.
Oh, that'll be a good point.
Are you joking? I thought you were back in Wintertown.
No, it was sunny today. It was snowing yesterday, but it was sunny today.
Yeah,
okay.
we've had
The winter-
shit weather all weekend, unfortunately.
Aw, that was a bummer.
Yeah.
It was so miserable yesterday. It sucked. It was like wet rain and then snow, and then going back and there it is again. Thanks to snow.
Oh, Jesus.
It's just a great fart sound too. Like, wait till you hear it.
Okay, you know what you have to do? You have to go back and before posting the episode, you have to edit it back in so the MP3 version has it.
Dude, it's recording straight live. It's fine. It's already in there.
So it will be.
Yeah,
so,
it'll be in there.
But people watching live don't hear it.
They hear it too.
Oh, okay.
Everyone else.
Everybody hears it except you two.
Okay, cool.
I think I just got the best money-making gimmick on Twitch. Ooh. Yeah, it is like a loud and wet fart. It's real good.
my
like
God.
it's got a nice bit of reverb to it too.
This episode's off to an amazing start.
I know, isn't it? John, get us
Yeah?
started. You were the one thinking about a podcast while walking around.
Yeah.
So since you bothered to do some damn prep work for this thing, why don't you show us how a podcast is supposed to be done?
I played a game that I really liked.
Oh boy, I know what this is, probably.
It was Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Donna.
God damn,
Yeah.
that video game's good.
It's a very good video game.
Fuck, it's so good.
So good, huh?
God damn. It's like I'm
Rhett doesn't play
sending
that, right?
Rhett back his copy of 428 this week, and I'm just going to include Ys 8 with it.
I mean, I didn't want to say that you should do that, but you should do that.
I'm probably going to do that.
Okay, I'm not going to get it right for a while because I
That's
started
fine.
another Falcom game, you know?
Yeah.
That's fine.
That is the most acceptable reason to put off Ys 8.
Yeah, if you're going to put off Ys 8.
It's really the only acceptable reason.
Yeah. It's fine.
See?
It's fine.
So Ys 8, which I haven't played.
I trust you.
It's real good. It's just extremely assured at being what it is and telling the story that it wants to tell.
And telling a damn good one for an
Telling-
Ys game, too, because those games aren't really long in the tooth when it comes to story.
No, they are not. The only other one I played Ys 1 and 2 and Ys 6, and then I jumped ahead to Ys 8, much to Rhett's chagrin.
You skipped 7. 7's good.
I know, I'm going to go back to it. No, I'm not going to. I need to do Oath and then try Origin and do 7. It's going to be great.
See, I played those two first, and then I did 6, 7. And then I'm probably going to do Celceta 8.
Cool.
But maybe if Polly sends me 8, I'll just fucking cheat and play the good one.
Yeah, play the good one, because I don't think Celceta's that good.
Yeah.
It's good that there's some bad Ys games. It makes you appreciate the ones that are good.
Yeah, like and in the case of Ys 8, we're basically talking the best in the series, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. It took me a while to get there because it has a big old map that you fill in slowly, and a mini map and icons and shit.
So it's a modern video game.
You feel like you're doing the checklist thing for a little bit.
For a little bit at the start, I was like, okay, looks like Falcom's doing this now. And I was kind of thinking back to E6, where there's just very non-detailed map. You're just filling around, having to actually like hold the spaces in your brain. And if you open a treasure chest in E6, it's always going to have something very useful and relevant, as opposed to like a crafting thing. So for a little while, it's like, okay, this is like a different flavor, and I can appreciate this, even though there's a lot about like E6's texture that I appreciate like a little more. This is doing its own thing, and I appreciate that. And then I kept playing, and then I was like, actually, no, this completely kicks ass, and it's really, really good.
Like, when did it start making that turn for you? Like, about what point was it? Because for me, like, I kind of bounced off of it a bit at first. I wasn't enjoying, like, the tag team battle system thing, but that's just because I'm a,
You were hating all video games.
I was hating all video games at the time as well. So I tried to play this game at a real bad time. But then it actually grabbed me. It pulled me out of that funk. So, I mean, I think that's, the healing qualities of Ys 8 are very evident just by that, right?
Yep. I heard another friend talk about the tag team system putting them off, but it really doesn't matter much because you just kind of... Enemies will be sometimes weak against one character more than another, so you just press square and it instantly switches you to another character.
Yeah.
And really, it just felt like an excuse to get you to play as all the characters, which I appreciate because in this game specifically, you don't want to be just 8 at all the time.
Yeah.
Just thematically.
And the thing I like about 8 and Salsetta is that when you switch characters, instead of just like warping you to where that character is, they just kind of warp in the space to where the previous character was, and you continue from where you left off. So I think that can be real off-putting. So like in Ys 7 or so, like when you switch to Dogi or something, he'll be off doing other things, and then you will switch to him mid-combo, and then like the camera will like zoom over to him real quick. But in Ys 8, it's very instantaneous.
Yeah, it sounds like they kind of... Like, it's sillier to have them teleport around like that, but it feels better. And they make that
like, in terms of what it did for game feel, I think it's just amazing. Because then you just start getting, like, full-on 3-character combos by just bouncing between all 3 of them and using their special skills and normal combos all together. That shit feels real good.
Yeah, agreed. I really liked the countering.
Oh, yeah, the flash move.
The parrying, the flash guards, yeah.
Yeah, those, like, and the timing's fairly generous on them, but...
it's very, yeah.
Yeah, like, and those mechanics exist in Ys 7 and Salsetta, but they're, like, very underdeveloped and just kind of like, well, you can do it, and you'll probably accidentally do it a few times. Like, I don't remember ever flash guarding or flash moving on purpose when I played Ys 7.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then this one, it's like, on the first tutorial battle, I was like, doing the perfect flash guards, just like, I played Luca, I know how to do this, this is great.
And then you do it, and it's got like really cool effects for when it happens.
Yeah, it
like,
feels good.
Like when you flash a move, everything slows down except you. And then when you flash guard, you get guaranteed critical hits, and you're faster. So yeah, it's like and you can string those together. So it's just like if an enemy is still like in its attack animation, when you flash move, you can like cancel out of the move with a flash guard immediately and get both bonuses at once.
Yeah, I figured that out about 2/3 in. I was like, oh yeah, this feels real nice. And so I was on hard too, which helped. It made all the enemies do more hits. They do more damage to you. So on some of there's a couple times where I just buckled down with the boss and I was like, I want to beat this boss seems cool. I want to beat him without using any healing items. And then I would just die like 3 or 4 times, but then get really good at learning all the parry timings, and I'd just be like standing in front of that boss, perfect timing, attack him, perfect timing, attack him. And if they land any of those hits, it'll take off like half my health. Yeah. But I'm just parrying it every time, and it feels great.
Yeah.
Hey, John, have I got a game for you? You want a game where you get hit for over half your health between parries?
Parry system in Ys 8, little more forgiving.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny because I just skipped the parrying in Dark Souls. Like, nah, I'm not gonna figure this out. But then I played Luca and I was like, oh, parrying feels real good. I want to do this now. And then I did it really good. I just completely broke Breath of the Wild by doing that just from the beginning.
Dust and Elysian Tale has a great like it has a great feeling parry system too, but it's so
Cool.
easy to do.
Yeah.
You just literally
very
hold the
easy.
button, and you can be like 30 frames off and still hit it.
Oh, man.
But like when they clash and you hear that, boom, it feels so good.
So I appreciate that. I like the fighting in Ys 8 a lot. I really connected with the story and the world a whole lot.
Oh man, it's real good.
Oh man. It's got a parallel story that very slowly unfolds to the main story of being stuck on an island. And the way they dole that out and develop it and have it explode on you is extremely cool and affecting.
Yeah.
And I don't think I need to say more than that. It's very good.
It's just like the character they use to kind of like to be the counterbalance to what's going on currently versus the parallel, and like the way they flesh that character out as well, and so much good earned stuff in that game.
Yep. And it's a modern game with a bunch of icons on the map and percentage numbers you watch go up and whatnot. I 100%ed that map. I found every icon.
I did everything in that
quest.
game.
I did every quest. I completely, in the normal course of play, the normal pacing, I finished everything, and so it didn't feel stupid. It didn't feel like I was wanting to waste my time with the map stuff. So I feel completely satisfied with how that worked out. Because there's no busy work. It's just playing.
Yeah, and it's just like like the conceit of the deserted island and the way the quests and shit are set up. It all kind of just makes sense together, and they don't really like the game is just good at funneling you down a path where it's not that hard to go out of your way to do a few of those quests. Like I never had to like knowingly just stop for a few hours or something and go, all right, I need to go find 20 pieces of divine wood. Rhett, get over here.
Yep.
Divine wood.
I get it.
I'm talking about his Peter.
Ha! See, that's good. That's the thing we decided would help make our audience metrics go up, is if we talk more about Red Stick.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
That's actually
back to the classics.
That's actually the only thing we've been upping between episodes, is just like try to see if this. All right, we'll up it a little more. Did this work? All right, we'll up it a little more.
Try a little more.
It didn't work. Let's just up it a little more anyway. Maybe we didn't.
Yeah, maybe it was just an off day.
Yeah. So yeah. I think Ys 8's real great. I don't want to build too many more preconceptions for Red. I think he's going to have a very good time with it.
He's going to enjoy this game, and I don't want to like overhype it, or it's like the greatest thing ever, but I'm super hyped for Ys 9.
Oh boy, I am. I finished it. Like, the greatest compliment I think I gave it was like, I think this is as good at being what it is as Trails and Trails SC are as good at being what they are.
That killed me. That killed me because you were like, it's like as good as those, but without the massive time investment. And here I am in the middle of them being like, oh. But then I started SC and everything was fine again.
Yeah. Yep. Well,
I was like, oh, this is worth it.
What I meant is that Trails is better, but it's better because it has like 100 hours to tell its story.
Yeah. Like Ys 8 is doing what it does. It's doing it at the same proficiency that Trails does.
Mm-hmm. But being more action and less and shorter and less story. So it's just as good.
Shorter.
But
the story in those games before 8 was kind of nothing.
Yeah.
So the fact that this one has a good story sounds really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing, but it's nothing in a way that was like really nice to me. Kind of like
for
when
you,
I played Ys 6, I was like, oh, I like this a lot. I like the little characters, and they come together in a nice way, and it's a nice climax.
Yeah.
So, I'm very at peace with how those early Ys games were doing their stories. But yeah, that's my Ys arc. I can do one more quick one.
Go for it.
Your arc of Napishtim.
Yep, my arc of Napishtim. I played Wander Song.
Man, that's another good video game.
What
do you mean this is a short one?
John Thayer, are you
sick?
sick?
About it last episode.
Are you sick, John Thayer? Because so far you're bringing nothing but bangers to the party.
I know. I'm gonna keep doing that. Don't worry.
Whoa.
Don't worry.
I like this new John Thayer.
Mm-hmm. I just like like playing good games. That's all I do here.
Weird.
Good games, good books, good stories. That's John all the way down.
Yeah.
So this game's real nice.
It's real nice. I think I talked about it last time.
It's real nice.
It's literally the John Thayer video game.
Yep. Oh boy, I connected a lot with the Bard.
He's so good.
Boy. Oh my god.
He's such a good character. It's just like
it's a lot.
Oh man. And Miriam is like
completely precious. Yep.
Oh god. Character of the year. God damn.
Oh, she's so good. Got that dance convo.
Yes.
So
I was so terrified thinking you missed that. I'm like, they wouldn't let you miss it, right?
No. I was going around and getting every scrap of dialogue I could.
And you had this game accompanying you on a trip, so like I have to think that kind of like made things better if it like when and if there was downtime.
Yeah, I think there was. It was like a couple times where I was like, all right, I've been in the sun for 6 hours. Let's go back to the hotel room and play some Wonder Song. And it was nice. So
I was thinking, like, it sounded like you played the first 3 chapters or so on the plane trip there. And I was like, that's a good amount, because after that, this game might start making you cry.
Yeah.
No, I just dabbled in it a little bit during the trip and then played it nonstop on the plane ride there and back and then finished it. Like a couple nights later, and boy, at the end, huh?
Yeah.
Woo. Just so y'all know, this is a adventure game where you walk around and you're a bard trying to save the world, and your only method of interacting with the world is talking to people and singing.
Yeah.
You have a sing button. You have a sing stick,
and you have a dance button, and you can dance anytime you want.
Dances never do anything gameplay-wise.
Dances don't do a damn thing gameplay-wise, but you can dance your little heart out.
And you can find... I think in Chapter 5, like, the hidden dance is, like, Carmel dancing from old Toho videos or something.
The dances are real good.
Yep. I missed the last one, but I looked them up. The last 2, but I looked them up online later.
Yeah.
They were very good.
I missed a couple of them too. Like, and you got to kind of dig around for them. You got to find the dance.
I'm proud of myself for finding the pirate one.
That one's good.
That one's tricky, and it's a good dance. Dabbing makes you move 6.9% faster. True.
Not wrong.
I found that out on their Twitter later. I mentioned before that like the main lead on this game, and I found the developer chapter and it was very sweet. The main guy that worked on this, Bainoff, he made a game like 10 years ago that I played, and then like made a big show on forums or whatnot about hating a lot. So that
Jesus.
And I come and play this one, and it's like, well, you won me over. Like 8 years later, good job, dude.
Just took a little bit, that's all.
Yeah. So that's like a couple times now where some of my new favorite games are by folks that make games I hated back in the day.
Just the RFL dude's waiting on his turn.
The next one, the Axis, the World War II allegory game. I'm sure he can handle that very well.
Yeah. It's gonna go swimmingly, I'm sure.
Yeah, I had that game on the brain. Of course, I always have RFL on the brain. That fucking game.
Gotta memorize how to beat those bosses.
Hey, Lord Nash, people are going to need to know how to beat him. And if they need it, John Thayer's got the hookup.
I guess you don't need to memorize because the game just tells you.
Yeah, that's a good point. But John's got their back.
What is it?
He's weak
Lord
to
Nash,
earth, fire.
I can't quite just rattle it
but
off.
He is
I could
also vulnerable
I
to
feel like that's something...
shock and burn.
I feel like that's something you need to be able to rattle off at any point. Just completely like on the spot, you should be able to.
If you're on a date and you don't know what to say, just throw it. Lord Nash is weak too.
Earth and air magic, but immune to the status effects stone and shocked.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew shock was in there.
He has access to vampire bite and blizzard.
Man, and I can as you're reading this, I can see the colored text for each proper noun coming up.
I also found the my screenshot from the walkthrough on Steam. If you aren't using story mode, know that he's weak against air and earth magic, but immune to the status effects. He's also weak against holy magic. He can use vampire bite and blizzard. Thanks, walkthrough.
Oh my god. What are video games, man?
So wait, he's also weak to Holy, though.
He is also weak against Holy
So
Magic.
the game doesn't actually tell you all the weaknesses.
Yeah. But he's not.
Well, you got to put a little bit of the effort on the player's part, Rhett. God.
No, Rhett, that was in the. This is the original text. Lord Nash is weak against
God,
an
what
air
are we
magic,
doing?
but immune to their stat effects, stone and shock. He is also weak against Lita's holy magic. That is a text in the game.
Okay.
Oh,
it
well.
does.
Shit.
Wander Song. All right, can I get personal?
Get personal.
Yes.
Let's do
Can we get
it.
a little? Can we get like extremely?
Are we turning the lights?
Do I need to like turn my chair around and sit
Can
on
we
it
get
backwards and
extremely real for a second?
get extremely real and have that moment? Let's go.
Okay.
This is so stupid. I finished Wander Song. I chatted with y'all for a bit.
Uh-huh.
And I took a hot bath. And then I was like, I think I'm ready to stop hating Anna.
Wow.
Wander Song is the cure for the common cunt. You are welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
That was very good. So I think that was more probably the weekly therapy for 6 months, but it was prompted by the most like therapeutic. It's like 2 weeks later, and that stuck. So that's the most therapeutic like breakthrough game of 2019. I think.
I mean, I guess that it makes sense, though. It's healthy to just let go of that hate.
Yeah,
Yep.
like
And just move the fuck on.
and it definitely feels like the game had a hand in that, because I mean that game's full of a lot of really good vibes while also tackling a lot of, some pretty dark shit, but it's about coming out the other side of that dark shit in a much better place, but still having, the knowledge and the things that made you stronger from having gone through those things.
Yeah, and just the very nice hippy dippy. We're all just a part of this world, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's sweet. So I remember when you brought up this game and you're like, "Oh, this guy's just like John Thayer," and then I was like, I think I was like in a particularly dour mood or something that day, and I was just like, "That's the old John. The old John is dead.
The old John is dead. He's writing new Nine Inch Nails songs."
No, that's Taylor Swift. God. That song sucks. I hate Taylor Swift.
What?
Wait, no, I don't. I don't hate it. I don't hate Taylor Swift. It's all fine.
Are we just flying off the rails now?
No, wait. New therapeutic bike. I forgive Taylor Swift. Thank you, Wander Song.
I'm sure that she will be happy to know that.
Yep, everything's fine. It's all fine. I just won't listen to the music because it's very bad.
I like that. Have we reached soundtrack Trent Reznor with Atticus Ross and with the have we reached soundtrack Trent Reznor with Atticus Ross period with John Thayer yet?
I don't get it.
Because that's all Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross do is movie soundtracks.
Yeah.
Okay. I just don't get the joke, but that's
Are we
okay.
past the fragile and with teeth yet?
We passed the front. Still don't get it. Sorry.
Phases of John, I think.
Oh
Phases
my
of
god.
John.
I am directly comparing the trajectory of your emotional constitution to that of Trent Reznor and his various periods of time.
Oh, so now I'm kind of the healthy, stable place as opposed to being in like the downward spiral place.
There you go.
Just say you're a bad witch.
There you go. That's me.
Ew. Okay, well that makes sense. I don't like
makes
Johns,
sense.
and I don't like Bad Witch.
Jeez.
So
I was listening to all my Nine Inch Nails albums alphabetically, and it skipped over Bad Witch, and I was like, yeah, because it's not on my MP3 player. It just went right to broken.
nice.
It's nice. So that's my Wander Song life journey, I guess. Stupid.
Can I say one extra thing about that game that I don't think I mentioned it last time? Sure. That game feels like it embodies the anxiety of millennials. Yeah. And I feel like another game I played earlier this year, oh shit, now the name is blanking on me. The guy who did Noidu Love.
Oh, I was
Iconoclasts.
Yeah.
Because both of those games are about like, hey, the world's ending. Okay, cool. And then the end of the world arrives, and it's like, oh, this was a lot closer than we realized, huh?
Oh, I thought when you said the world was ending, it would be like 10 years after I'm dead.
Yeah. I feel like these games channel a lot of that. Oh no, it's like here by chapter 4, dog.
Yeah. Well, given
just-
that these games are
things
made
much
by people
more-
in that age range,
Yeah.
like, it's not surprising.
Mm-hmm. No, it's the boomers will be dead for 10 years
Mm-hmm.
when that happens.
Yeah. And nobody will care that they're dead.
I know.
That's true.
Yeah, for real. I just feel like there's a vibe in both those games where it's like end of the world stories are going to get maybe more intimate coming up.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you're already seeing that. I mean, there were a couple of games that were mentioned on Giant Bomb's Game of the Year thing last year that I know kind of hit that same kind of thing. So, yeah, I think that that's definitely, like...
Cool.
It's a very real... It's just a very real thing, okay?
Yeah.
And it's understandable why...
that this generation is rightfully anxious about.
Oh, y'all fucked up the world and then gave it to us. Thanks. Man,
But,
when did this
it'll be
fucking
okay.
podcast go all socio-political?
I was catching up on the chat for a second. I didn't realize it was... I didn't realize it was Eleanor with the joke that I didn't get. Sorry, Eleanor.
It's okay. It's great. Like, we live for those kind of derailments here in Sockscast land.
Yeah,
Yep.
for real.
There we go.
Okay, hopefully my connection was bouncing for a bit there. Hopefully it's good.
You're good
now.
now. You're good
Yeah.
now. You were robot,
After
but I
5S.
covered for you.
After 5 asks if Wandersong would cure his hatred of Sword Art Online, it didn't cure mine.
Yeah, John still hates it. So,
Yeah. Still hates Sword Art Online. That's unforgivable, obviously.
yeah, like that is the unforgivable sin. Imagine you. Yeah, man. Wow. Imagine being able to let go of your hatred of a cunt, and you can't let go of the hatred of SAO. I think that says a lot.
About SAO, yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty bad. It's very bad.
It's a much more recent wound. Maybe in
That's
time.
true.
that
Maybe
too.
in time.
That too.
Maybe, and then I'll watch season 2.
Oh god.
No.
Don't
Oh,
do
Let's
that,
make it
John.
fresh.
Don't.
You can move on, but you you
I
shouldn't
will
go
come to
back.
your house and beat you about the face with a tactical flashlight. I have one.
See, and that's why she's a 10 in intimidation.
Those things are... I sent that as like, oh, I think an 8, and I saw everyone else being like, oh, low, you don't intimidate me at all, and I was just like, am I going to make someone feel bad saying that? I hope I didn't make anyone feel bad. Up there. You didn't hear that, and then we're just like, oh, John hates me.
Yeah, like that Wander song might cure your hatred of SAO, but your hatred might just live anyways, just to prove how badass it is.
God, that show sucks. Rat. What have you been up to?
Oh boy, I've been up to a fucking lot of little things
Okay.
all over the place.
Let's go.
So it's funny. So last week I brought in 4 games, and they're all going to be talked about again on this week's episode.
Nice.
So one of them was Wander Song, which we just did. I just have a big old list here. I'm just gonna fucking rapid fire this episode. I don't know what else to do.
Okay.
I finished Baba Is You after that game being insanely long.
I thought that game was at most 20 hours.
I have 60 hours on Steam,
Jesus.
and I've still not beat every level, but I've gotten to the ending. And
See,
even
that's what
that
I was going
with,
to do. I was going to play it to the ending, but then it's like, oh, it's like a fucking 60-hour investment.
Oh no,
I have RPGs I could play.
there's an early ending that you can get super early after beating like 3 levels. But then there's the true ending, which is just it goes.
Go team! Yeah!
It just
Did you have a good time with it?
oh yeah, I love this game. It's just very long. I think the difficulty kind of levels out after a point, which is good because if it kept getting harder, I probably would have completely broken. Because I remember having to look up solutions in like areas like 4 and 5, and then but I never like immediately gave up on a level, and I would be like, I'm going to stare at this one for an hour, and then eventually I'm just going to, for my own sanity, I have to look up the solution. Because a lot of times you'll get tunnel vision. Like, you'll think something has to be one way. Like, there was one level I was doing where it's like, okay, I have to put this thing here and this thing here, and one of those was just straight up wrong. Mm-hmm. So like I was never going to actually finish the level because I was so 100% locked into this false notion of how it had to be solved without even realizing it. So like I solved even like towards the very, very end, I solved a lot of the levels on my own. But it starts to get really weird at the end, which is exactly what I wanted.
Oh. Well, yeah, that is the kind of game I want to go off the fucking rails by the end.
Yeah. So
was it recognizably a game by the person that made Environmental Station Alpha?
No, it doesn't. Okay. It never breaks its rules.
Okay.
It's a game about literally pushing rules around and making things readable, you know?
The logic is what gets me excited about this. Because it's like, it's a puzzle game I look at that I still think, I suck at puzzle games, but I'm pretty good with logic, so I could probably make this work.
It's still a lot of block pushing. And like sometimes the block pushing just straight up gets in the way where it's like...
Yeah, see, like that's my problem with block puzzles. Is like, I know what I need to do with a block puzzle. It's often the space and the amount of space you're granted to do it are the problem.
Like in this, sometimes
plenty of room to push around the blocks and you'd be fine.
Exactly! That would make things totally solvable for me.
Yeah. There's a lot of areas where this is just a little bit smaller than it needs to be for no real reason, like just because they want a tight play space. What's really, like, this is a minor issue, really, but it is annoying when, like, you know the solution and you're just pushing stuff around, and then you get to the end and you're like, ah, fuck, I pushed that one against the wall, now I can't pull it out. I have to rewind. Like, it's just stupid shit like that, where it's just like, listen, that's like some stuff will be wedged into the corner on purpose at the start of a level so you can't get it out. Mm-hmm. But when it's like a block you have access to and you accidentally push into a corner and then can't get it back out, it's like, well, fuck, that's just stupid.
That always feels bad.
Yeah. And the game's very good about, rewinding, like you can undo in every turn. And then the more you rewind, the faster it goes. Mm-hmm. So you can just, it's kind of like, almost like Braid basically, where you can just rewind back to any point in the level you were at.
Yeah, like that kind of game needs that kind of functionality.
Oh yeah, definitely. But the thing about the end game, and I'm going to speak very carefully to avoid spoiling it, is that how you solve a level starts to affect the outcome. And that's the stuff where it was like, I need a fucking guide for this, because holy shit.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, okay, in this world, level 7, you solved this way, which got you access to levels 8, but if you want to go to 9, you have to go back to 7 and solve it this way, and I'm just like, fucking what? Like, it gets weird. It loops into itself, basically.
This is so funny. Because I played the 12-level prototype and was like, y'all need to play this, it's so wild, and now the new one is just massive.
I imagine that you probably said that, probably even at a point on a podcast, and we were just
God
like, yeah,
damn it,
okay,
I know,
sure,
I'm sorry.
Whatever. I wonder when that came out.
Yeah, I just imagine John mentioning that on a podcast at some point, and me and Rhett just kind of like, yeah, okay, we'll totally play that, John, sure.
Okay. I thought you were referring to me, like, every time Rhett brings up Bob as you mentioning playing the prototype.
No.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I might have mentioned that, like, in 2017.
Right.
That game's really good, but eventually I was like, okay, like, there's only so many ways they can build a level, and they do, like, literally every single permutation probably possible, because there's over 200 levels.
Mm.
Where it's just like, okay, a level where there's something that kills you in the way. How do you get around it?
Right.
And then when you start having to solve levels in multiple different ways in order to access certain things, it becomes a lot.
Mm-hmm. God, this has 1,200 reviews.
It became super popular on Steam. It was like this flash in a pan thing.
Yeah, then like Wander really cool. Song just barely broke 50 in 4 months.
No. Wander Song must have more than 50. I think if you scroll down to like all reviews, because sometimes that thing on Steam only shows like within 2 weeks, I think. It's something weird.
Yeah, it might. I just know that I just remember that big hoopla with like Luca and Wander Song being these weird outliers that were on a bunch of Game of the Year lists, but Steam's like, that's not really a video game.
I know.
And then they fixed it for Wander Song, and then they didn't fix it for Luca.
And didn't fix it for Luca, so yeah.
Oof. It's got 300 now.
I mean, yeah, what becomes popular on Steam feels kind of random.
Yeah,
but this
it's just nice
really
when
good.
It's nice when good things get successful.
Yeah, and this is a good thing. I played a little bit more of Sekiro.
Sekiro?
That Sekiro. Shadow Die
Sekiro. Sekiro.
It's just...
You are so southern.
I don't know... What?
Sekiro. I played Sekiro.
Christ.
He's near Boston.
Sekiro. Whatever.
God.
I don't know
I'm
how
being
I feel
that
about
person
that
on
game.
purpose, okay?
That game drives me nuts because the combat against regular enemies feels so fucking good, but you don't really have to engage with it because you can literally backstab everything.
Yeah.
And then, like, you should not ever die to regular enemies in this game because if you get seen, you can just run away and they have leashing like in Dark Souls.
Yeah, they leash and just forget about you.
So you just run away for 30 seconds and they forget about you, and then you just walk back up and one-shot them. It's like regular enemies shouldn't ever actually kill you.
Do they like when they go back to the route, do they turn their back, or do they do that walk backwards kind of thing?
Some of them will totally turn their back to you as well when walking back.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of random, which they'll do. Some of them will walk backwards.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're out there, and so I'm not putting my back. And
you're literally in my line of sight, and I can see you, but the game logic says I can't move beyond this circle.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff like that where it's like this boss very clearly won't go past this line in the sand. So, like, I saw someone being like, okay, leash him to over here, then get behind him and start attacking to push him over this invisible line. And once he's over it, he won't do anything, and then you can just stand there and attack and win.
Oh, jeez.
So that's a pretty bad one, but that's the one mini boss I haven't killed yet, so I might try it later. But basically, so mini bosses are infuriating because they're really hard. Regular enemies shouldn't ever kill you, and then the main bosses I fucking hate to death, basically. So I'm just all over this game. I think a lot of it comes down to what I realized. I forgot how I felt about at the end of Dark Souls 3, which was basically, I'm just so fucking done with these bosses.
Yeah.
Because Dark Souls 3 was a game that I really liked, slowly exploring the areas, killing the regular enemies, and then every time I got to a really hard boss, I was just like, man, fuck this. I just don't care anymore.
Oh, like that, and the boss design in Dark Souls 3 just kind of seems very tailored.
With swords?
Very tailored around that whole, I'm doing things to purposefully fuck with the player so that they will die, and then my video game is hard. Like the way that you like, I've watched enemy attack patterns and the way they play out and how they will sometimes like pull some attacks short to throw out a different attack and shit like that. Like there's a lot of bosses that do fake out shit like that or do half animations, and it's just like, I think you guys ran out of ideas.
I definitely think there's I saw someone say it's like eventually you just start to realize that every attack in the Souls games takes like half a second longer to come out than you think it will, so that you block early or dodge early and then it hits you anyways. Like it's very like calculated, and it's like every boss in Dark Souls 3 practically like tries to fake you out to get you to dodge and then hit you.
Yeah. Like that shit just would kind of get old.
Yeah. But then I also didn't really find Dark Souls 3 very hard. So it's like when it got hard at the end, I just abandoned the shield and just started two-handing and then beat like everything first or second try. Like I know I haven't played the DLC, so if everyone's like, oh, the DLC is really hard, like I'm sure it is. But I beat the last boss on Dark Souls 3 on my first try, which was fucking ridiculous. Because it's not a super easy fight. It's like you've got this huge, massive health bar, and I whittle that down, and I'm like, okay, what's more? And then there is a second form, and I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to die. And then I still won, and I'm like, oh, huh.
Not used to that. That's a weird feeling coming from a Souls game.
Yeah. Except Dark Souls 3, or Dark Souls 2, which has...
Yeah.
Nashandra was a fucking joke as well.
Yeah. Did not die to Nashandra at all.
Yeah. So she doesn't count.
No.
But I feel like the Souls games in general, there was a very clear point where the boss design changed, which is Artorias.
Yep.
I think everything post Artorias was like trying to capture that high again.
Yeah.
Of like fighting against a humanoid with similar powers to you.
Yeah.
When in Demon Souls, that was like nobody gives a shit about Penetrator.
Demon Souls has such weird bosses.
Yeah.
But then it does have a few humanoids, and they're the harder and better ones. But yeah,
Demon Souls is good because the bosses are so fucking weird. It's bad that they started airing towards the humanoids with swords.
Yeah.
But I mean, taking Demon Souls as its own thing and being the first one, those bosses weren't such another humanoid with a weapon. Yeah. Whereas in Dark Souls 2, when 90% of the bosses are a humanoid with a weapon, that's when you're like, okay, guys.
Yeah. Like, I think the only boss I can remember from Dark Souls 2 that's not a humanoid was that fucking carriage, and that boss is shitty.
There's also, like, the big fat worm.
Oh, yeah, the big fat dumb worm.
Isn't there a big rat that has, like, 5 other rats attacking you or something?
Oh, my God.
That's like every boss in Dark Souls 2. I am one thing, and then there are 5 other of me.
There's actually 2 rat bosses in Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
There's a big rat with like 4 rats at the very start that will like one-shot you if they all get you good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another rat boss that is literally just like 30 small rats.
Is it also just more bosses? Like I don't know.
I think it has more. Yeah, Dark Souls 2 I think has the most bosses of any Souls game.
Yeah, they jumped on that whole like, oh man, our video game's hard and every boss is Artorias, guys. Come on.
So Sekiro has less bosses than any of them.
Sekiro.
It's
a good video game.
I think there's 13 total, and they start to repeat. There's also less content in this game than any of the others.
Yeah, they repeat, because I remember somebody telling me that like the drunk fat guy repeats.
Oh, that's a mini boss. I'm just talking about the main bosses. But they also start to repeat the mini bosses. The drunkard is probably the most offensive one. There's 4 of them.
What?
There's the one in the past, there's one in like Ghost Town, there's one at the end of the game, and then there's one in the past again.
I'm kind of glad I'm skipping this game.
It's just and the thing is like I never had trouble with the very first one in the past. In the Flaming Mansion thing. So I think he got me once, and then I figured out what to do and just clear the whole area out so I could fight him one-on-one. So he got me once, and then the other 3 I all got on my first try. And I'm like, I just don't find this mini-boss hard, and now I've had to do it 4 times. 4 times!
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, they also start to repeat a couple of the main bosses, which is real offensive.
Yeah.
Like, they change it up a little bit, but like, there's one boss that is like, has 2 phases originally, and then the remix is just you fight both phases at the same time. And I thought that was going to be the worst boss, and I ended up getting that one first try because they hold back like this. They do not move nearly as fast as the originals. But it's just like,
an odd bit of restraint from software.
Oh my god, that fight would have been insanely if they moved it like they do the originally, because that was one of the bosses that like tilted me originally.
Oh,
so I'm like,
so you were real stoked when you got to him.
Yeah.
Hey, Rhett.
Yeah.
Did you beat the game?
No.
Oh.
I haven't given it a full try yet. Basically, I got past the boss that I was tilted on, played through the end game area, and had a really good time. Then got to like the big cinematic boss and had a good time. And then I got to the last boss and was just like, nah, I'm not even going to fucking try. I'm just going to come back to this later, or maybe never.
Not feeling it right now.
Is that with or without any special enhancements you made?
No, that's without. I didn't use any special besides cheating the money, because the money in this game drops so fucking slow. So
did you just try it with like the 90% speed mod?
I did down. You're really trying to publicly shame me here.
I'm trying to get to the point where I can just drop you cheated not only the game but yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh.
What was your journey with that?
There was one boss that there was 2 bosses actually that I really couldn't get a feel for. And so I tried downloading that thing, lowering the speed, and then still losing. And I'm like, well, it's not really the speed that's fucking me up here. So eventually I just put it back to 100 and got good.
Oh, okay. then you're fine, obviously. Although you haven't won yet, so you didn't cheat yourself.
I did have a thought. I was like, what if I fight the final boss at like 50% speed and then close the game after winning, then fight him at 60% speed, then fight him at 70% speed, and just see how high I can go before.
You're just over the bamboo shoot every day, and then one day
you're just practicing speed runs like I do. That's all.
I just feel like the way people talk about the final boss in this game is fucking bananas, because it's a 4-phase fight.
Oh God,
it's
that is
so
not
fucking much.
Souls.
Yeah,
that's not usual for Souls.
And it's just like, it sounds super technical. Like there's the whole like certain attacks you have to jump, certain attacks you have to dodge, like that you can't parry, and it just sounds so much. And the fact that like the one time I fought it, just to be like, this is the final boss, right? Okay, like I got past the first phase using like all of my Estus, and it's like, oh boy, I really don't feel like fucking doing this.
Do you have to go grind for more Estus after you die?
No, Bloodborne makes you do that, which sucks.
Bloodborne and Demon Souls make you do that, and this sucks.
Yeah, it's not as bad as in Demons.
Didn't Bloodborne kind of like change the way storage works though, so that when you pick up blood vials, they just go to your storage and you can just go pull more
I think
out?
it was always like that, but the limit might have been 99, and then they bumped it up to like 1,000.
Okay.
Oh God.
But yeah, Bloodborne has some grinding. There's grinding in this game too. Like there's the whole skill tree thing, and like the experience you need to level up gets like obscene at some point. Where like I'm near the end, and it's like for a skill point it takes like 12,000 experience, and I've seen people saying like the last one will cost you like 75,000. It's like,
Jesus.
What? Why?
Yeah, this seems like the kind of thing that would benefit from you being able to max it out comfortably near the end. Like that just to me makes sense.
Yeah, there's the whole thing with the items that increase your health bar. I ended up just looking up a guide for where all those are at the end.
Yeah.
And hey, guess what? There's a bunch that are missable.
Of course.
But I didn't actually miss any. I happened to get... It's like...
You got lucky.
I got lucky because I was very persistent. There's one area that changes twice for story reasons, so it kind of changes which mini-bosses are there. And I happened to get both of them in like the middle phase that are pretty easy to miss.
Wow.
Because they're gone if you get too far towards the end of the game.
How do you feel about permanent missables in video games?
I think they fucking suck.
Yeah, I'm kind of on that. What about you, John Thayer? You love them, don't you?
Yeah.
That's what
this made me think about this made me think of you playing for the Frog Bell Tolls and then not finding the health items, getting fucked at the end.
That really made me angry. I was enjoying that game, and then it's all of a sudden, you straight up cannot win because you did not find one strength item. Like, you have to be at X level strength to beat this boss. You didn't find it. Fuck you.
Yep. There's no gameplay in the bosses in the fighting red in that game. It's all just like up in with stats.
But then you can just miss it.
I don't know if the missable.
I don't think it's permanently missable, but I was at a point to where it's just like I would have to trudge back through an entire dungeon and then out into the main world to find it.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing it. I was just like, wow, that sucks because I just happened to not run into that issue while playing it. Yeah. So I was I had a better experience there.
Yeah, like as soon as that happened to me, which was like 3 or 4 hours in, I was just like, all right, video game, you done fucked up.
Yep.
This isn't on me. This is on you.
Yep. Still better than Link's Awakening.
So I'm going to cut myself short and transition. Hey, Polly, speaking of games where one person can have a really good experience by not missing something critical, and one person might have a really miserable experience when they miss something, what did you play?
Well, I played 428 Shibuya Scramble. I believe you talked about this last episode, I think.
Yeah, this was the fourth one.
Yeah,
last week I talked about Baba and Sekiro, Wander Song, and 428.
So 428 Shibuya Scramble is an awesome visual novel. It was produced like a movie, where it's like just real life actors and photos and full motion video. It's told really well. It's It's a thriller, you know. There's like, oh shit, shit's going down in Shibuya, and we are caught up in the middle of it. And there's like 5 different protagonists, and you know, each part of the game happens over the course of an hour. The objective is to kind of get each character to the next hour, but you know, their storylines kind of end up little inconsequential or largely consequential decisions during the course of that hour can lead to bad endings, or you can get locked out and have to jump back into somebody's timeline from another angle, and that's a really cool thing. They make that work really well. I really like the characters in that game. There's a lot of really good character writing. Man,
they're very diverse and lovable. Especially, you know, there's that one guy,
Yanagashita.
I could not know
he is so good. You want to know what he did prior to this video game?
Oh, I saw that he is like an actual actor and stuff.
He's not really an actor. It's more of he's known for having lived in an apartment naked for 18 months, surviving only on sweepstakes winnings. That is his claim to fame.
What?
It was a reality show back in the early 2000s. That's his largest claim to fame.
Oh my god!
And then it was being broadcast live, but he wasn't made aware of that. He thought they were just taping, and he didn't know.
Oh God!
And he didn't know that it was being aired. He just thought it was being taped and shown later. So that when they did the finale of the show, they lead him out, they blindfold him, they bring him in, and it's like another apartment. And he's stripped naked again, and they're like, you have to do this all again. And he's just like, fuck. And then the walls come down and there's a studio audience.
God.
Okay, so 428.
It's real fucked up.
That's so weird.
But now he's like a producer now. He's climbed Mount Fuji. The dude's lived a life. He's sounds like he's living life now. But yeah, a lot of great characters. The journalist is just super good. Just up in
he's so over the top.
He's
ridiculous.
So over the top, just pointing in people's faces and screaming all of the time. They make the anime tropes work really well, despite the fact that you're looking at people.
Cool. That's a really cool trick.
I like how at the end of some of the hours, he's like, I've got 4 minutes to write this article. It's obscene. Yeah,
it's so stupid. But
stupid minor characters like the waitress that's rolling her eyes at him every time.
Every time. Yeah. Yeah. They tell that story so well. It's so fucking good.
It does a really good job. I'm sorry to keep cutting you off.
No,
it does a really good job
ahead.
of jumping between moods.
Yeah.
Without being too jarring. Because,
I love that.
The one doctor, scientist guy, his story's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it's real.
And then to jump
dark.
from him to, Tama and, just the insanity she's going through.
Yeah.
It's whiplash, but it works somehow.
Yeah, it's Spike Chunsoft doing what Spike Chunsoft do. And that's just crafting really good narratives with characters that are super appealing and just... Yeah, they knocked that game out of the park with everything. But I got a big fucking bone to pick with it. The final chapter of that game it consists of a 2-hour time block. And by this time, some of the characters have kind of just, reached an end point. So you've only got 3 characters to deal with by the time you get there. Because the other characters... Going into this final part of the game, you're going into, everybody's funneled down the same path very clearly now. It's the most linear part of the narrative. So everybody's on the same page. We're all going down the same road.
Mm-hmm.
So this is at a weird juxtaposition with how the game's mechanics work in terms of everything being weird and disconnected from one another, and how these stories seem so very disparately connected. The jumping around makes a lot of sense to kind of make the things work, or the little things that one character can do or can't do that will affect another character's timeline in a big way that may or may not need to be fixed. That works in all of the chapters prior to the final chapter. When I got to the final chapter of this game, it was fucking every 2 to 5 minutes of me being locked out or thrown into a bad end, just because of just multiple choice after choice after choice. And it's just like, they bury themselves so far up their ass with the game mechanics that I got completely sucked out of the ending. And it really bummed me out. Because there's a lot of tension going on. And all of the characters, we're all on the same page. We're all in relatively the same vicinity. Why do we have... Like, why are you choosing now to go batshit insane with, oh, you didn't choose to fucking salute somebody?
That's the...
That made me so mad because I followed logic. You see, I thought, okay, Japan, we're traditionalists, we're respectful. An officer of the law or an officer in the military does not salute another officer if they are not in uniform. I just followed what I've always been taught. So I tell the character to give him a few words of encouragement on the way out. And I proceed to get stuck at nothing but bad ends and being locked out for about 30 minutes.
God.
I had to go back and salute him. It doesn't make sense why, but that gave me access to another path to go down. And this keeps happening to me throughout the entire course of this game's 4-hour finale. 3 hours of it were me being stuck. And then I didn't even get the true ending. Because I got to the end, and I messaged Rhett, and I was like, here's the thing that happened, yay. And he was like, did you get normal end or true end? And I'm like, oh, no. So I go look at my file, and it just says normal end, and I'm like, fuck. So I look up what I have to do to get the true end, and I have to change, like, 5 or 6 things, which means rolling the entire timeline back. Oh, this game also doesn't have a skip text feature. So it means I have to...
Wait.
It has a skip text feature that works sometimes. It works a very specific way. It works...
If anything has changed, it won't skip.
Yeah. So... And you can't always just jump to a specific line or a page. Like, there are predefined points that you can jump to in a scene, and the point that you can jump to will always have, like, 4 or 5 pages that you need to read through before you get to the point to see if your choice changed anything. And this is also the point in the game where bad endings inexplicably stop giving you hints as to how you arrived at that bad ending.
No!
Oh, I like that. Just the way to say there are no hints after 1,800 hours.
I didn't like it at all because...
Of course not.
It totally fucked with my experience because the salute thing pissed me off.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Like, what the fuck? Literally nothing changes. He says the same fucking thing afterward. It's just, for some reason, if you choose to salute somebody, then you're given the jump point.
It reminds you of his brother or something.
Yeah, it's so fucking dumb. And it's just like, don't get me wrong, I love this game. I think it is great.
Okay, you were so mad afterwards.
I was so fucking mad,
You made a tweet
though.
I thought you might regret.
Like, I just feel that my experience with the climax was completely ruined, though. Just because the game went so far up its own ass with the choices and shit. But yes, what were you going to say?
I understand why are there... It's like you step on a rock the wrong way in the ending and you get a bad ending. Like, I understand why all those are there, because it's supposed to be like this miracle that the characters were able to make everything work out.
Right. Like,
through all this sheer luck. I think that stuff is fine. I think the way you jump to other characters, and especially the way those are unlocked, fucking sucks. Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, because you're jumping to characters that you couldn't previously jump to.
That, and the fact that, like you said, like, when the characters are all in the same area, and, like, so you're seeing the same scenes multiple times, like, through, like I'll just say, like, Aichi and Kano are like right next to each other a lot.
Yeah.
So you just see the same. So like having to read through their perspectives.
Like they're
multiple times
saying the
is
same
dumb.
fucking things, but you can't
Yeah.
skip through it because you haven't technically read it.
Yeah. I think they absolutely could have streamlined it down to 3 characters, like Aichi and Kano, one of the guys of the other scene,
Yeah.
and then made those jumps not as fucking hard to find. Because there was one that I also didn't find where it's like, oh, I think it like you have to be in a bad ending or something.
Yeah, there are a couple where you literally have to be locked into a bad ending, then make a jump from the bad ending to another character, which will
in the past.
Yeah, in the past, which will then negate the bad ending.
It's wild.
Like it's fuckery that I can appreciate, but in terms of the way it is implemented and just how often I was getting slammed with this shit, and just how often I got roadblock, like it just ripped me out of it. And like when I went back and did the true ending, I was just like, whatever.
Yeah,
because it's not really that different.
I mean, for one character, it definitely is, but
well, for one character, it is, but it's just like the main crux of what's happening in the ending doesn't change. You just kind of get an update.
I just remember my reaction to the ending was being like, man, this is just way too start and stop because of how jumpy between the characters it gets. Yeah. But I definitely didn't get frustrated in the way you did, and that sucks.
Yeah, like the visual novel being a visual novel got in the way of me enjoying that climax.
The visual novel being a game got in the way. Also, like, really I played this climax over like 3 days, so also I wasn't as like urgent to finish it instantly.
Yeah, like I was just barreling down. I was just like, this was my evening. This was me. I'm gonna like, oh great, my whole evening was garbage.
Like I remember getting to what it calls the epilogue, that last box, the epilogue, and just being like, okay, time to go to work. So I read it the next day. So like it was already start and stop for me, but like the previous 2 days or maybe 3 days were, that 2-hour block of
yeah, I did like one or two.
Through.
I did 1 or 2 hour blocks a day, so like I was just cruising through that thing.
You cruised through. I thought like that Sunday you did like most of that game.
Yeah, I did.
I couldn't believe how fast you got through it.
Yeah, like last Sunday I did like probably. I did probably 4 or 5 in-game hours just last Sunday. But hey, like when you're laying on a couch, you feel like shit, and you got a TV. Turns out a visual novel's pretty good company.
You got the good TV, a comfy couch, and a bad back.
There you go. That's a good video game. I like it.
Okay, so that was the end of the video game. There was nothing else after that ending, right?
No, there were other things.
Oh.
There are a couple side stories that you can unlock. There's a quiz you can do.
Oh, God, fuck the quiz.
The quiz is real dumb, and it unlocks these side episodes that aren't very good.
They are awful.
Yeah, they're pretty terrible.
I read one, the one about our favorite guy.
Yeah, and it wasn't
even
good.
that was not very interesting.
Yeah, it's just like these little one-off gag episodes, and like it's cute. I get it. You include that kind of stuff. Moments, things like that. I get it, but I was just kind of like, yeah. I'm not going to sit here and read all of these and then try to do the conspiracy ending and shit like that.
So the conspiracy endings are super, super short. I'll just send them to you on YouTube.
Okay, do that. But there are 2 interesting side stories that open up once you get the true ending. You get one of the characters in the game, sister. You play through a little portion as her perspective, and then I cried for 3 hours.
Oh my God, 3 hours.
Man. Yeah, I didn't cry for 3 hours.
I mean, I tweeted...
I didn't cry for 3 hours. It was just quite literally... I wasn't expecting it to go the way that it did, and then it started... Then I messaged Rhett and was like, Rhett, this story is going to have a blah, blah, blah ending, isn't it? And he was just like, wow!
I mean, I did tweet earlier, oh boy, this thing just fucking emotionally wrecked me.
Yeah, it's
sometimes I need a good sob. That was my last tweet about that game.
Like for me, I was just like, this is the last thing I'm doing before going to sleep. This is probably a bad note to go to bed on, isn't it? But yeah, there's that, and then there is the sort of prequel, sort of origin story of a character who's mentioned throughout most of 428, who kind of an enigma to all is the character Kanan, who got her own...
How are you saying that name?
Kanan.
No!
What?
This was your April Fool's joke to me, is telling me the wrong way to say her name right before the last episode.
Oh, I did?
Canon.
Oh, God, I did, dude. Oh, my God. I totally forgot
That's
doing
how they
that.
say her name in the whole anime.
Well,
Canon.
it's Japanese, Rhett.
I know. But I was just like, man, she got me good with this April Fool's joke.
But yeah, they do a really fun origin story for Kanan.
Holly, we've got a transition here.
We do.
You're reading a visual novel by Type Moon. Anyways.
Yeah, I was going to try and keep that part secret, Rhett. Thanks. I was going to let that fly under the radar. Let's not say a thing.
Oh, don't worry. I would have drawn attention to it if Rhett didn't.
But
this is a good one.
Finally, we have a reason to play 428 Shibuya Scramble.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, if John wants to complete the entire Type Moon.
Yeah, if you want to.
Obviously, I have to play this, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to.
You have to play this and get the true ending.
Yep.
That's the only way it unlocks.
Well, there you go.
Anyways, canon.
So yeah, the Kanan story is really good because I've watched the anime before, and even though it's sort of a tie-in to 428, you can still watch that show, and it's a real good popcorn flick kind of show. It's very Black Lagoon-ish in that, even though you kind of are a little confused as to this character and how she's doing the things she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of don't really, you're not really getting sort of the connection between Maria and Kanan. You don't really get why they're so close as they are in the anime. This gives a lot more insight into that. So I'm going to be probably rewatching that anime here this week, probably.
Yeah.
What did you think? What did you think about
really
rewatch?
I thought, man, reading this one chapter in 428 makes this make so much more sense.
Wasn't it not in the Wii game too? They added it to this release?
Apparently it was written for the Wii release and then last minute cut.
Yeah, they just kind of
and they'd already greenlit the anime.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
Yeah, it's such a weird way that whole thing kind of came together and then got pulled and then
I just wonder if this release is the first time this ever finally came out. I'm not sure on that.
It just makes me wonder if the entities that kind of came up with the Kanan character and that story and 428 had some kind of falling out, because Kanan was originally referred to as 428 in the animation, and then it changed to Kanan. So it just makes me wonder if there was some sort of Type Moon / Spike Chunsoft falling out there.
I wonder,
because I don't think they've done anything else together.
No.
It's really weird though, because boy, this first chapter in the visual novel really fleshes out some stuff in the anime.
Yeah.
God,
I'm probably gonna have I'm probably gonna glow quite a bit more about that anime now, because I still liked it quite a bit even without the 428 knowledge. It still tells a really good story. It's fun. It's got a lot of great action in it. So
it's just wild seeing there are flashbacks to the events of the story you just read.
Oh, see, that's really cool.
It's just but you just see such quick glimpses of it as if you already kind of know that story.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating being man, I was so confused the first time I read this or watched the anime.
Yeah.
And then you read it and you're oh.
And it's
now,
a real...
Now I know why I care about this character.
Yeah, it's a real deep dive into that character, where she came from and, and her history with another character that's real fucked up.
Yeah.
So did you like it?
I liked it quite a bit, yeah. 428,
cool.
428 I would totally recommend, despite the fact that I had a bad experience with the climax. I enjoyed the fuck out of it all the way through. I mean, I was posting just nonstop screenshots all over.
Of our favorite guy.
Of our favorite dude, Yanagashita. Yep. He's so good.
Because he's not a spoiler, basically.
Yeah, he's not a spoiler. If I posted much else, it would be spoilers. So yeah, but there's a lot of good shit in that game. It's Spike Chunsoft again doing what they do best, and that's just telling really good stories with really great characters. That this one might not have a big resonating kind of feel or have a deeper message like something like Zero Escape or Danganronpa might have. This one is definitely more focused on being that thriller, but I think that it still definitely sticks like the thing that it's trying to be. It still lands that very well.
Mm-hmm. And this is a Chunsoft game, so these are basically the folks that sort of invented the visual novel to an extent.
Yeah.
Like they put out Portopia Serial Murder back in the day, and then a bunch of other VNs that we can't play because they aren't fan translated.
Yeah.
Like Machi is the big one that
Machi is the
one
that people keep wanting them to localize after 428, but 428 didn't do too good.
Nope.
Yeah, isn't 428 like a kind of a remake of something else older?
It's
Is that what
sort
you're
of
just talking about?
The same idea in terms of like being a visual novel with time leaping mechanics, and I think it's FMV as well.
Oh wow, yeah.
So it was on the Saturn.
Yeah, it was on the Saturn.
Oh, jeez.
They did localize Banshee's Last Cry, which was the SNES one they did on the phones.
Yeah,
and I played a bunch of it, and it was frustrating because you do the first like main ending, and then instead of it like building on that and then getting to like a big true end thing, it just like splinters off into a bunch of lengthy gag routes.
Oh jeez.
So like you finish the game, and I'm like, oh, that was pretty cool. And then I dive back in and start from the beginning. There are new choices available, but then all of them just turn into jokes, and I was like, oh.
Why didn't we think to do that with her lullaby, man? We missed our chance.
Oh jeez. I guess the one thing we haven't mentioned on this right now is how goofy the bad endings in 428 can get.
Oh my god, they're so
stupid. And it
stupid.
looked like you hit a lot of them. I saw you getting those achievements for like...
I got 63 bad endings. There's 95 endings total.
That's so funny. The first person maze thing where it turns into the wizardry for a minute.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Yeah, that's one of the big gag routes in Banshee's Last Cry. So I was like, I recognize that.
Oh, that's so good.
It sounds like they did a better job of meshing the sense of humor and the goofiness with a story that you care about, with the thriller.
Yeah. And just how they managed to pull that off with like real life actors, like because like if it's an anime character, you could look at it and see a lot of these silly things happening, but they still made it believable with actors, and it's just like that's something I was really skeptical about. Is just because this is a very anime situation that these characters are in. How do you make how are they going to use stills and a few full motion videos here and like no voice acting whatsoever to kind of make this work? And they fucking do it.
They totally do it.
That's cool.
Actually, there's a little voice acting in the Cats ending.
Oh yeah, the cats. And there's like the Kanan side story is completely voiced as well.
And anime.
And the anime, of course.
So it's like this weird, super harsh shift in style.
Yeah.
To where it's now you've got voice acting and anime style.
I wonder if that was why they just didn't include it. Like it was just too jarring for them.
And it's not directly related to the events of 428, even though it kind of is. Like there are like the ways that Kanan's origin story tie into 428. It's a little tangential. So it's just like it's more or less just sort of like how she came to be and who she is, like where she met somebody and all of that stuff, and like But
after kind of completing everything, it's definitely more of a prequel to the anime than it is an extension of the game.
Yeah.
But I read the Kanan one, then the other side story at the end of the game that goes back to FMV actors and no voice acting.
Yeah.
And that was so fucking jarring.
Yeah.
Going back to people.
I did those in reverse because it was just like, this is going to be weird if I do it any other way.
Yeah. Because I just went straight to Kanan because that's the one I unlocked first. And I'm like, oh, there's another thing. Okay.
It's just funny that you have, like, when you go to the character select screen and then there's this real life little girl standing there, and then there's this anime portrait of Kanan. So it's like all of these actors that you can choose from, and then there's the cartoon. It's like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit bullshit going on.
It is really funny.
Did you do the jump at the end of the Kanan one?
Yes.
That's also super weird.
That's also real weird because you jump right back into the main story with the actors. Oh man,
there's absolutely no reason to do that, as far as I know.
No,
but the
there's
fact that
not.
They put it there just so you know, this anime girl lives in the same reality as all these people.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm looking forward to rewatching Kanan though. I have not watched it since I bought it. So
there's some goofy parts that I didn't like, but overall, it's really good.
Cool.
Like kind of knowing more about that universe.
Cool. So yeah, that's 428. That's like kind of like the biggest thing that I really did. Do y'all want to take like 5?
Sure.
All right, we will be back in like 5 minutes or so. Get up, do your thing, go air out your crotch. It's probably stinking up a little bit. We will be right back.
Are y'all back?
I am.
Okay. Because I just told my dad, alright, got a podcast, goodbye. Thank you for calling me, though.
Oh,
Because I thought I'd gone long.
I'm reading Endgame hot takes.
Excellent. My dad had a hot take on the phone just now. He was like, he told me his favorite line in the movie. The context is that his name is Bruce. And then the line was, "We're relying on you, Bruce. We all are." I was like, yeah, I can see you appreciating that. You can single that out as a phone thing.
Yeah,
as a
want to get an MP3 of that.
Yep.
Make that like your ringtone when you wake up.
Relying on you, Bruce. Yeah, I'm excited to see that movie. It's gonna be a good time, I think. The city.
Probably not back yet.
I'm back.
Oh, I
I'm
think
back.
we've all been back. No one
I
was
just got
talking
back. I
about-
just got back.
Yeah, I was waiting.
Oh, okay.
I just got back.
Oh,
Thank you for the 264 bits, Tengu Gemini. See, I'm not like After 5. See, I got a counter that'll tell me what I got. Thank you for using the purple heart as well. That gives you a nice little 10% bonus.
I accidentally set the cord down on my enter key, so it was repeatedly muting and unmuting me very fast.
Oh, that would have been great if you just started
Jesus.
talking.
Started to talk.
Hey! That's me verbally subtweeting After 5 there. Alright. So who am I going to throw to? Throwing to John after
I
this,
think you
right?
should throw it to me.
Alright. Oh, boy.
Oh,
Alright. So is everybody back? Everybody feeling good?
I feel great. I feel.
Oh, no. Well, we're gonna stop that.
Yeah, we're going to...
Oh boy.
It's time for the heel turn. John Thayer. What else you been up to?
Well, I've been playing something very cool and good that I want to talk to y'all about.
Okay, so it's not the thing.
Oh yeah, because you did. Yeah, you used adjectives that I would not really.
I played Final Fantasy V.
Oh, again, I would
You
not.
didn't talk about that last time.
No, I didn't. I don't want to dwell on this long, but I had a really
Okay.
nice time with it.
Okay.
I just never liked that game very much.
I know, it's
I-
so weird. You're both so weird.
I just played it and I didn't hate it. I just fell off it. This was like 10 years ago at least. It was during.
I played it and was just like, yeah, this is this.
Okay,
Mm.
honestly, I got stuck at one of the X-Death fights and just fell off.
They're real hard.
This was probably like 2007 or something.
How is
died.
anything in that game hard when you can literally break it with the job system within 20 minutes?
Well, I didn't feel the need to do that, Polly. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm fucking smart. I'm sorry.
That's true. Anytime people talk about systems being broken, I'm too dumb to have figured it out. So I'm just like, what? I thought it was fine. Like the only time I broke the game was when I Googled how to break the game because I was stuck on the boss. And then I did go back and beat it legitimately, and I felt good about that. It was very hard. I put him on wait mode and then mimic double casted. I turned everyone into mimics and had one person double cast Bahamut and then just mimicked it over and over.
Good
Oh my
lord,
God.
that's overkill.
That did the trick.
Yeah, that'll do it real fucking fast.
Then I went back and beat it without cheating, without anything that I had to figure out online, and it felt good.
Not really cheating. It's just
Yeah.
learning to
Just-
play within the rule set that you've been given and playing in a smart way.
Well, I didn't figure that one out myself, so I
Oh.
feel I wanted to do stuff that beat it in such a way that it was with stuff that I'd figured out, and it was just like, oh, I have to cast shell so that this
I'm too stupid to do
attack
that.
doesn't kill me.
Polly, you just had it and you let it slip through the way. John, you cheated not only game, but you cheated yourself.
I think that's the most perfect Final Fantasy.
Oh.
I played
I'm
it,
sorry.
and it made me think of Faerun and Valcom games. So I was just like, yeah, everything in this is just kind of working together. It's a nice story. The bosses are really good, unlike Final Fantasy 6 and 7, where they're mostly bad. And yeah, I felt nice little feelings at the end when the Dawn Warriors come back and help you out. I was like, oh, this is nice. And the tone, the big thing for me is that the characters are very expressive, and it's very funny in a way that 4 really wasn't.
But it's one of the few Final Fantasies that I feel embraced humor. Or
Yeah,
tried
and-
to, anyway. It has some levity.
And if you play 6 and 7, those games are really funny. They have a good sense of humor. Even though they're much darker.
Final Fantasy has not had a sense of humor forever.
Yeah, but 6 and 7, they're funny as hell. Like the date with Cloud and Aeris.
Yeah.
Or the Sabin and Cyan in the desert. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And that to me, that very obviously started in 5. That was that tone and dynamic.
Mhm.
It wasn't dark like 6 and 7 was, and so it wasn't balancing that. It was just a light story, but told with this really nice tone and sense of humor.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that.
Mm.
And That's the main thing. The structure is really cool. I like how most of the last act is optional. Like that's another thing where I thought that was a 6 thing or 6 in Chrono Trigger and thing, but 5 did that too. Like almost all of the stuff you can do in the third world is completely optional. You can just go to the final dungeon at any time, and you just don't want to do that because it's real hard.
Yeah.
Also, the last dungeon is just like a completely linear boss gauntlet.
Yeah.
Ew.
Wild to me. That's the last thing that felt like an innovation I kind of credited to 6, was having like these more, instead of like big mazes, the dungeons are like kind of set pieces where they have these little interactions you deal with, and so the pacing of them is really cute and fun. Even if I kind of, a part of me definitely prefers like the big dense mazes you get in 4 and before that, but I can appreciate that this is something different, and it's probably something more accessible to focus more on, big bosses and set pieces and cute interaction non-puzzles in dungeons as opposed to just resource draining hell.
Yeah.
So that's all stuff. Like, there's so many things. This is definitely the game they made before Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger. Whereas before, I just kind of thought 5 was like this straight regression.
Yeah.
Where they made 4, then they just did nothing for a game, and then they made Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger. But now I see like it's kind of this straight line of they took all the stuff they learned here and they applied it in this way, and I think that's neat.
But they didn't take the gerb system.
Didn't take the gerb system. The gerb system. I was antagonistic about the job system.
I know.
For a while, because I was just like, there's so much else about this that's good, and people just focus on the fucking job system. I don't give a shit.
I think people like me, they like the angst. They like how ridiculously overdramatic 4 and 6 and 7 are.
Yeah, like that's kind of where my head's at. I'm still that edgy teen. Look, I like Final Fantasy 13, okay?
Replayed it in 2019.
I replayed that game in 2019. Might even talk about it here in a bit.
Yeah, like I still like 4 more because it doesn't have a job system. All the characters, it's simpler. So
right.
And yeah, I like the melodrama. It's I think 4 is probably dumber than 5 in that sense, where it's into this very silly melodrama and the plot is very flying by the seat of your pants for the whole time. But to me, it's just joyous, and I love it.
I mean, 4 when I was a kid was like the realest shit.
Yeah.
And then you look back at it now, it's like,
it's very
oh my
fucking
God,
silly.
I can't go 10 minutes without a character nobly suiciding.
Yeah, that was I played 4 like 7 times, and then I played through. Now I played 5, 6, and 7 twice, so I still have my obvious favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a good time with that. And Zach says I can't accept that 5 is better, and I'm like, I didn't say that. I said it was the perfectest, which I think is sort of a different thing. Where like I get more out of 4, 6, and 7, but 5 is the one where like it just feels like very confident in what it is, and then 6 and 7 like they've got all those boring bosses and they're very easy, and then so 5 feels very balanced throughout, and then I appreciate that. And I played another thing.
Oh.
And I was really excited to bring this one up.
Oh.
Well, I can't wait to talk to y'all about this. I think you'll have a lot of good thoughts on it. It's a pretty cool game. I read the Homestuck epilogues.
Oh my God, it's worse than I expected.
It just keeps getting, like, it's all downhill from here, folks.
And call.
I'm so happy to bring, like, this heavy hitters just like Rhett did last week.
Yeah. You had such a
down.
good, strong, like, early showing. What the fuck happened?
This isn't a video game, though, so we can't talk about it.
No, it's a choice, and you play it on your phone. It's a game.
Well, see, it's on a phone. It's doubly not a video game.
I can't believe you both made that stupid fucking joke in defense of each other. That's so funny. So this pissed everyone off.
He thinks it's a joke. That's good.
But that's Homestuck, so everyone was mad at the first ending, so I don't care. So this is deliberately styled. It's all text. There's no comic or game component aside from one choice early on. It is deliberately styled as a fanfic, and it like even has like archive of your own tags at the start.
Oh my god!
It's very cute. and then it's basically 2 stories. The total, it's a two novels is basically the pacing. Is basically like the length of it. It's ridiculous. I googled it and someone said it adds about 25% of text compared to the first Homestuck.
Jesus.
So now this is a massive thing, and it came out 3 years to the day after the first comic ended. It's just a sequel. So it's basically split up. There's a choice early on where your character decides either to... John, the main character, either decides to...
Of course.
Go to perform the thing that was left ambiguous in the climax of the first comic. So he goes and finishes that part of the story, and that's the canon path, where he goes and does that. Or he shirks the responsibility of the story and decides to ignore canon, and then everything goes down in a completely different path based on that. So either they actually go and beat the final boss, or they just go like, we're fine, we're safe in our little pocket universe. So it's 2 paths that wind up intersecting with each other in interesting ways. One of them takes place in the canon, and one of them doesn't. And then the story is about using that as a metaphor for, like, what if you were in a world and you just feel like nothing means anything? Like, this doesn't matter.
You mean like I do right now?
Yeah, listening to me talk.
Yep.
So it's a really cute device for engaging with that on as an existential metaphor for, like, what do you do if your life isn't canon anymore?
What?
And then both of them get really dreary, and both of them end without resolving the big plot threat, without resolving certain things in interesting ways. And then also the last chapters of both of the stories are switched. So the ending of the first book is the second book's ending, and the ending of the first book is the second book. Second book is the first book's ending. So you end the first one just like, what? I don't you don't realize that's what's happening either.
That seems dumb.
You're dumb. Your face is dumb.
It probably is, but it's not as dumb as Homestuck.
Fair enough. Your face is dumb.
It is. It's very dumb.
So I looked online afterwards, and everyone was really mad, mostly because it killed off characters that they loved or made them miserable. The non yeah.
Oh, I just said great.
Yeah, the non-canon one is the most delicious because the first one, the canon one, has a really cool big climactic battle and everything, and then the second one is just really ugly relationship angst for most of it. Just characters getting married, ships, and then just marriages being miserable and falling apart. And then just so it's tearing down all these ships.
We
it's
did
really
it first.
Funny. Yep.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Yeah, but this has a main character named John.
Yeah.
So it's actually more about him than the thing he actually wrote.
Spent a lot of time dwelling on my favorite ship too, which made me happy, including John and my favorite lady character. He's pretty great.
Oh my God.
So, I think what some people read it was just this is making fun of fan works. This is hates fan works. Whereas I was just no, this is completely celebrating fan works. This is making a statement of
this is your life. This is what you do.
This is making a statement of if you think about yourself as the main character of existence, and you completely concern yourself with being part of this grand narrative instead of just living your life and trying to be the best person you can be to the people around you, you're going to suffer for it. And I thought it was a really cool little message that people didn't pick up on because it's the internet. And I played 4 things in a row where I looked up online and everyone was mad at the ending, even Wandersong.
Even Wandersong!
God. So, yeah, I had a good time with that. There's one more thing I wanted to bring up, though. Kind of bringing my hands together. There's one more little thing. And then that's it, actually. I don't have anything else. I feel like I can just get it out of the way now. It's probably a little tiny discussion we can have together as good friends.
Oh, yeah.
I played a lot of the 2000 Type Moon visual novel, Tsukihime.
I played that.
You did?
Yeah.
Polly played all of that. So
Yeah.
you can just have over here without me.
That's true.
It's gonna be a real
Polly-
good conversation. Let me tell you.
Oh boy.
Don't spoil
Polly
it for
never
me.
told me how bad it truly was.
I don't think we need to necessarily get into like triggery territory about it, but it gets pretty lousy in a lot of ways. I really like it in a lot of other ways, though.
Of course.
Yeah, because I'm realizing that I kept engaging with all this ancillary Fate media by other authors, and it's just like, oh, this is bad. Oh, and this is bad. Oh, and this is bad. This sucks. Oh boy, why isn't this good like the first VN? And I'm reading Tsukihime like, oh yeah, it's because it's not written by the guy I liked. So I don't actually have too much to say, I think, now.
Okay.
I'm a little embarrassed because I'm a little bit bashful about it, I think.
It's
Yeah.
not good.
I was so amazed when you came in with CL is trash.
She is. She's garbage. She's a complete and utter trash can.
Okay, wifey wars. Now I'm back in.
There we go. Now
He's
we're
so
at
good because Shiki sucks so much, the main character, that I didn't even...
Yeah, he's real fucking terrible.
Yeah, he's real bad. And I didn't even consider the idea of hating any of the girlfriends. It's like, what? But, what? CL? What? Huh? But,
Yeah,
what?
Shiki is just complete unmitigated garbage.
Oh, yeah, he is a
Great
very bad...
protagonist.
He's a fuck boy.
I confided in Rhett when one of the scenes like got under my skin in a bad way.
Yeah.
And then
How bad are we talking? Which scene?
I was talking about the graphic rape porn that's
All right.
spraying all of this visual novel.
Yep.
They do not do that in Fate.
Mm.
To the
Wow,
same extent.
1 point for
Oh,
Fate.
What, Rhett?
Oh, Fate, the series with the rape worms, doesn't do the thing.
No, like that. All the stuff with the worms is off screen. Like it's bad. It's gross, but it's like
I literally don't. The one thing I'm really confused about is I knew Polly read this whole thing, and all she
cut out Rhett.
Oh, we lost him.
What?
Oh, there
We
we go.
lost you. All Polly could say was,
All Polly could say was that it's really boring.
Yeah,
Like,
it's real fucking boring, but it's
But-
also real fucking gross.
Yeah, so I don't know why you kept reading it after shit like that.
Dude, it was Thanksgiving week. I was on
You
break,
must
and
have
I
been
had
so
nothing
fucking-
to do.
But like, there's boring and then there's graphically offensive.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't drop it after some of the shit I've heard about this now.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, he spends the whole thing in bed. Boring.
Yeah.
no, it's not boring though.
Yeah, it is.
No,
Yeah,
I think
it's-
that might be one of the routes you haven't gotten to.
I'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
No,
No.
it won't. No, it won't. It'll be very, very boring.
And
Because I didn't
possibly-
know one person could write 7 straight hours about laying in a bed doing nothing.
This
And
is
being
exciting. Oh,
sick.
man. This
Didn't
is
know that could
exciting.
happen.
The main character Shiki is both very strong but also very vulnerable because he's extremely anemic and frequently collapses in anemic exhaustion,
Yeah.
which causes a lot of conflict. But yeah, it feels very deliberately made in the sense of like it's building to these little confrontations and climaxes, just like Fate did to me, where the parts that are slow to build up a relationship with this character and build a sense of normalcy that it then breaks apart. So in a lot of ways, it just feels exactly like this same basic pacing and structure as Fate, to the point where it's also like a lot of ideas that were in Fate were just right here first. So it's like, oh, okay, you've got your 10 ideas, all right.
Yep.
The big thing for me, besides the really bad parts like we mentioned already, is the because like those parts are just, they don't help the story at all. They're really bad.
They're very much there for voyeuristic reasons.
Yeah, it turns into just straight porn. There's no tension. There's no, you completely lose track of being invested in the story, and it's just like, oh, okay, someone was jacking off to this.
Yeah.
And that's
Mollusks.
But then the big thing for me is that the music's really bad.
Oh God, yeah.
There's like 10 tracks. They're like a couple of them are like 10-second loops.
Yeah.
And it's a 30-hour visual novel. Like we afterward had half as much music as this entire game.
Yeah.
Afterward is an hour long, and we weren't selling it.
Yeah, we probably had shorter loops.
Yep. Taylor, I did the math on like the minutes of music. I counted, and it was Taylor Payne half as much music as in all of Tsukihime, which is a 30-hour game sold commercially.
That's incredible.
God. He's real bad. I think you can hack in like you can hack in arrangements or whatnot, but I just
hack in the Mario World overworld theme. There you
go. That's a Mario 3. I can't summon Mario World music.
Mm.
But
I just like the twangy banjo-iness of it though. Just have that over everything in Tsukihime would make it better.
Probably. I think my copy's glitched because there's no music in any of the action scenes specifically. I think there might be like one track that just isn't working. So for the most part, I just had the volume at like 1 and I just am reading it. And it's like, all right, that's fine.
Mm.
So those are the big developments, I think, when you move from Tsukihime to Fate, is that they made the music.
Oh, hey, production value.
They added some production values and they took out all the graphic rape porn, which I appreciated.
I mean, they still left in all of the emotionally abusive, manipulative bullshit.
Oh yes, they kept that in. Don't worry.
They turned the dial down a little bit.
There's still plenty of abuse. There's still plenty of abuse in Fate. Don't get me wrong.
Don't worry. They kept all that. They kept the spirit of it intact. They just aren't as blatant. Which is all I really wanted, apparently. So I'm having a good time. I'm going to read The Far Side of the Moon Roots. I'm excited about that. Apparently it's gonna be pretty wild, pretty buck wild from here, y'all.
Can't wait till you get to Kagetsu Toya. Boy, oh boy. Hope you, yeah.
I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Is that the sister? The next route is the little sister, who's not biologically related, so it's fine.
It's totally fine. No, there's another little girl. Like as
Cool.
a little girl.
Cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. And
all I know is Polly saying there's one route where you spend the whole thing in bed.
Yeah, that's the sister route, I think.
Okay.
Oh, that's exciting. That's my next one.
The best one.
Obviously.
Sounds
and then there's
thrilling.
As far as I understand, it's the sister and then the 2 maids.
Yeah.
So that's my Tsukihime journey so far.
You should just play Melty Blood because those are fun fighting games.
Cool. Yeah.
Do that. Just do that.
No, Polly. Obviously, I need to play Tsukihime so I can fully appreciate Melty Blood and Carnival Phantasm.
I don't know. I thought Arcoid was still pretty cool just playing Melty Blood.
Arcoid's really cool, period, though, huh?
She's kind of like the only good character.
I like CL.
No, CL's garbage.
No, CL's great.
She's literally a trash can.
No. You said earlier you weren't spiritual Polly, and I was just like, that's why Polly hates CL. She's the priest. I get it. Zach says, so it sounds like Nasu might have bad views on women.
Yeah, just a fucking few. Just a fucking few.
What? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. It feels, to me, my big touch point that I keep reaching to is like, it feels like any sexual romance novel written from this conservative perspective where sex is inherently gross and shameful. Like that comes across not just in the really bad scenes, but in like the regular sex as well.
Nobody enjoys sex in these games. They are always just like, oh man, I am so shameful and terrible for doing that. Like nothing's sexy about any of it. Like nobody's just like, yeah, we are gonna fucking bone down and it's gonna be great. It's just like this disgusting thing that we're doing because we're animals.
That's basically the vibe. So that's. Like, I kept thinking about Twilight this time, probably because also it's the vampires, where I was just like, this is, like, an awful thing that has to be restrained, like, suppressed because it's so gross and disgusting. Or, oh no, we let it out. Ugh.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Actually, I take it back. The best character is Neko Arc.
Yeah.
there you go. Arsuid. Is it Arsuid? Arcuid?
I think it's Arcoid.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Then
Meat
there's a guy whose name is Nero, but it's spelled NRVNSQR.
That's how you spell it? I was saying Nervensker.
I think it's pronounced Nero.
Okay, he's not Nervensker Chaos.
No, it's just Nero. It's that series and Nasu are terrible. Fuck Type Moon.
So I'm basically back at in the same place I was finishing Fate.
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Like, this is competent in a handful of ways that really matter to me, where it just feels like it introduces and resolves threads, and I connect with the characters, and they have little arcs, and they make me happy at the end.
You could play 428 Shibuya Scramble and get the same kind of competence. Guess how much abuse is in that?
Or I could play Trails.
Yeah, you can play Trails. Yeah, there's no abuse in that either.
I think a lot of the sexual ickiness has also been therapeutic in the sense of, like, I'm untangling some shit.
I understand that.
From being married to a lesbian for 5 years and thinks I'm gross.
I'm not going to take that away from you, obviously.
No, I get you. No, I don't feel combative about it now. I'm just kind of accepting, like, but especially playing Tsukihime, we're like, wow, this is... It's very revealing in the sense of, like, oh, okay, so this is the ugliness that you kind of reined in a little bit, but is there bubbling under the surface for all of Fate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why Tsukihime journey. I'm very excited for the Far Side of the Moon routes. Get to meet the maids who I love. They're very good.
Hisui and what's her name?
Kohaku?
Kohaku, yeah.
How do I know that?
Yeah,
I'm the one who hasn't read it.
Yeah. I can't remember. I think their route was okay. I don't remember. Yeah. I just know that I came away. It was just like, man, this was like the worst Thanksgiving break I've ever had. Why did I do that?
When did we watch all of
Eureka 7? That's the one that came to my brain.
God. Yeah, we
watched 50 episodes of that waiting for it to get good. I don't know how we used to do it.
And it was literally just Rent and crying for 50 episodes.
And dancing.
Weirdly.
I did watch 20 of those, and then I ducked out. I was done. I had a friend here in Meat Space that really liked it, so I wasn't just doing that out of spite. I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, so like, it just does. I kept waiting for it to turn into Last Exile and be good at some point, but
it just doesn't.
Such was not the case.
Oh, man, I started Last Exile after Eureka 7, and I was like, this reminds me a little bit of Eureka 7, and then I stopped watching.
You see, the thing is, Eureka 7 is garbage, but Last Exile is good. I didn't like Fam of the Silver Wing, though.
But you watched it. I mean, it's still I think it's more competent than Eureka 7.
Yeah, it's more competent. Yeah.
I like how some of these media choices now, like John said about Tsukihime, is like, it's competent.
Yeah.
It introduces and finishes arcs.
Competent in a handful of ways. Glowing praise, says Tingu Gemini.
Says somebody who just watched Sword Art Online.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would not be even competent.
There's no comparison with Sword Art fucking Online, where it's miserable to watch. And it's like, Nasu feels like he sees ways that he's gross and is like a little bit angsty about it. Whereas like Sword Art Online is just gross and has zero self-awareness.
Guy literally gave himself a pat on the back for writing good female characters.
Yeah, that's the allure for me, is like the Fate stuff, the Type Moon stuff. It's like, this knows how to tell a story, which is cool. It's evil, all right, but it's also angsty about being evil. All right, cool. I can vibe with all of this. Like, that's the appeal over something like Trails, is because Trails isn't evil at all. It doesn't have that angst.
Yeah.
And then Sword Art Online is just stupid evil, and it's just worthless. So that's my adventure. I think I can pass it on now. Thank y'all.
Rhett.
Okay, I said I was going to lightning mode last time, and then I ended up talking about Baba and Yu Sekiro for a bit. So I'm actually going to lightning mode. I played Yoshi's Crafted World. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay. I played Hellblade. I didn't really like it.
Ugh.
Ugh.
And that game's boring.
It's kind of boring. The combat is competent.
Yeah, there's that word again.
I didn't even immediately do that.
Competent.
Adequate. Like, it feels real clunky at first, and you're like, this isn't built for dealing with multiple enemies at all. And then the game makes you deal with multiple enemies a ton. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of interesting having to, like, rely on the voices in your head shouting, look out, and shit in your ear, which is kind of interesting. And then there's a huge chunk of the game that doesn't have combat, which was more nice. And then the ending pissed me off.
The bad puzzles. The bad visual puzzles.
Oh, the
runes thing.
And the whole entire runes thing is so bad.
Yeah.
And, like, I got to that quick because at the start you can do there's two paths.
Yeah.
Like, the mystery one and then, like, the fire one. Mm-hmm. And I did the fire one first, and that's where it introduces the runes, where you have to, like, look at trees a certain way to make a shape. It's just real dumb. It's real fucking dumb.
Yeah, I hated it.
The only thing I appreciated is that the voices in her head start making fun of her for it later on.
Yeah, they do!
Where they're like, you always think you see these things in the world. They're not there. These aren't real, you know. You know that, right?
And I know that and I know that game is trying to paint a portrait of, like, actual dementia and shit. Like, I'm not... Like, kudos to them for tackling that. That's very cool. But in terms of it just game-wise, it's not good.
It's a not very good game. But yeah. And then the story just didn't really land for me. What?
Is this a AA, AAA game that did, like, the bare minimum of, like, experimental weird stuff for people to, like, shower it in praise?
No, like, there's genuine...
I kind of agree. It's Ninja Theory. Did they do the DMC remake?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were trying to actually, like, look at, like, dementia and like, they consulted for this game to kind of get the portrayal of the character right in terms of, like, what that character goes through in her mind and shit. Like, that, I applaud. I think that's smart.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it just, in terms of the game itself, it's not engaging.
It kind of felt like an indie game with AAA visuals.
Yeah.
Because it's just, well, I don't know. I just kind of bounced off it. But I wanted to prove to myself that I could focus on one game and finish it. Because I'd been bouncing.
Because you betrayed the box, and the box made you pay.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that. Have you been boxing?
Hellblade was a box game, but I kind of skipped around. And then I said, fuck it, I'm playing Trails now.
Excellent.
And then I played a little bit of that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild in VR.
Oh, yeah.
How was that?
It looks like fucking dog shit on the Switch, and then I found out you can actually display it on the PlayStation VR super easily. Mm-hmm. Like, the PlayStation VR has a breakout box that you just plug in two wires that come from the headset into, and apparently one of those is, like, video in and one of them is video out. So you just put one of those into the Switch, and then the Switch will just put the image onto the VR headset, and it just works.
Oh.
And it's super wild.
Right.
But you don't get any of the head tracking. But in Zelda, the head tracking is already bad. So, what's even weirder is because you're running the game in docked mode, like, it's already getting a visual bump, and then just the PSVR also being a much higher quality screen for VR gets it another visual bump. So it actually ends up looking really good. Like, I think it looks better than Skyrim VR, but also it's not trying to hit 60 frames a second like everything on PlayStation VR is.
Yeah. And a large reason the games need to hit 60 frames per second is to prevent motion sickness.
Sickness. So I spent like 20 minutes like legitimately trying to play this in PlayStation VR. And the problem I had is that so in the Switch version, when you move your head, it moves the camera and it kind of swivels around in a weird way, which isn't great, but at least it's something. So just playing it on the PlayStation with no head tracking, like, I am so physically used to looking around in VR games that, like, trying to beat that out of my head and not do it was, like, physically uncomfortable. because it's like I would like a lot of that game is climbing.
Yeah.
So I would go up to a mountain and start climbing it.
Try to look
and
up.
I would just look up and the view wouldn't change. I'd be like, oh fuck. So then you point the camera up and you're like, okay, this feels. But like I was just naturally would continue to keep leaning my head back. And like stuff about the UI is so far in the corners that you can't really see it, and then you try to turn your head towards it and look.
That
so you
doesn't
have
work.
So you have to be really looking out the corner of your eye to see anything, and so it doesn't work that well.
No.
But also the Switch version of holding the screen up to your face
is not a very elegant solution.
Is also really bad, and the resolution is hilarious. And I played a little bit of Mario in there too. And with Mario, it does run at 60, but it's also, these tiny arenas.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, it's a thing. It's not very fun. Like, you're just not getting a quality VR experience like something like Astrobot.
Right.
Like, having played that is just like, yeah, this is what it actually could be. But it's interesting that Nintendo is dabbling their foot into this.
Yeah, I'm really shocked to see them kind of going this route.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if there are plans down the line to maybe look that way.
Like, I just remember when the Switch came out, people were like, what if they had you hold it up to your face and put it in VR?
Yeah, I remember that kind of being like
people
a funny
joked
thing.
about it, and they actually went and fucking did it.
The Labo kind of let them do that.
Yeah.
Yep. Is it literally made out of cardboard?
It's literally there's like one plastic piece that holds the lenses in, because those are kind of important.
Yep.
But yeah, you build the bulk of it out of cardboard, and then you slide and then you put like kind of cushions on it in the part where you slide the Switch in.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority of it is cardboard, and it's real goofy because you have to slide the Switch in, but then the analogs on the controllers, they stick out too far, so you have to take at least one of the Joy-Cons off before putting it in, and then put it back on, depending on how that particular game controls.
Mm-hmm.
So it all feels kind of like a mess.
Ugh.
But I didn't play a ton of the whole starter set. Like, I didn't even build the blaster gun it comes with.
Wow.
So I did the Labo thing of like spending an hour actually building it and then playing it for like 5 minutes.
5 minutes and then into the trash.
And not in the trash, and then getting motion sick because like I think there was a little dust on the screen when I put it in, which looks real bad in VR. And I'm like, oh Jesus. So that's it for games. I watched a bunch of anime.
Oh, you did?
Ooh.
What'd you watch?
Okay, more lightning round. I watched Mob Psycho 100 Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
It's really good.
Cool.
That show continues to rule. I've seen a lot of people say they like Season 2 more than Season 1. I wouldn't be one of them, but it's still really good.
I probably need to watch the first season.
Yeah.
That's the same guy who did One Punch Man, as I understand it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a more mature story than One Punch Man is, I think. Because One Punch Man actually came before. Like, this was kind of the follow-up series, but then this one has an actual ending.
Mm.
Whereas apparently the original comic of One Punch Man is still going.
Mm.
So I really hope they are able to do a Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 and do a proper ending of the story. Because apparently they're close, but they're not there yet. I'm not sure how much material is left. Because I kind of saw conflicting reports, like one person being like, oh, they're already up to chapter 90 of 110. And I'm like, well, that's not a whole lot left. And then another person being like, oh, there's 3 arcs left. Like, they could easily do a Season 3.
Yeah.
But left off in a pretty good place anyways. Like, I think you can watch these 2 seasons and be good. So speaking of shows that you hope get second seasons, this is kind of my main big one. I watched a show called The Promised Neverland.
Okay.
And how do I talk about the show? I went in pretty blind. The one thing I heard about this show kind of right before watching it was somebody goes, this will fill the void left by Made in Abyss. So John probably knows what that means.
Yes, I do.
This is a show about kids suffering.
Yay!
I love that.
We love
Our
suffering on the
favorite
Sockscast.
genre.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm a fan of that.
So it's about these kids who live in an orphanage, and they have their mom and like 30 kids, And then every once in a while, one of them gets adopted, yay, and they're never seen from again.
Oh, goodness. And the trickster cat comes.
So they waste no time setting up this kind of ominous setup. And then by the end of the first episode, you know what is actually happening. And it's a lot. So the premise of the show is basically a couple of the kids realizing we got to get the fuck out of here.
Oh.
And then them trying to figure out how to do that. So it's kind of
and a lot of suffering's going to happen before we can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love how giddy John gets when suffering is involved.
It's a very good premise.
It's so wholesome.
That's why I couldn't understand you not liking CL. Part of her backstory is like being murdered over and over again for a full month.
Yeah, she deserves it. She deserves it.
Continue, right?
Like, there's something about this show that, like, halfway through it, I was just, like, so incredibly bummed out by, like, the shitty situation that these kids are in. Where it's just, like, a despair that is, like, so rotten to the core.
You're just, like, living Danganronpa at that point.
Yeah. It's like, I wonder what the impetus for the show is. Like, is this show a metaphor for something? Because in my head, I'm like, if this is a metaphor for capitalism, it's working.
Because you get that kind of like, is this show a metaphor for something, or is it a funny mirror for things? Like, you go back to Shinsekai Yori, which is a very much, commenting on things, and you get really depressed when you realize the realities of it.
Yeah.
And, like, this sounds very similar to that same vein.
Yeah. Like, there's that interview. What was the NetherRealm quote this week of, like, just throw more bodies at it? Yeah,
just throw more bodies at it.
Like, just the way people are abused in capitalism right now is real depressing. So, like, the show kind of tapped into that in an even grosser way, obviously.
Like, fucking poor people getting sued for planting potatoes because the potato is copyrighted.
Ugh. Anyways, this show actually just started airing on Cartoon Network with the dub.
Oh, weird.
But it was already on Crunchyroll in the Japanese version, and I watched this show in a day.
Wow.
I started like Saturday night, probably the same time as it, because I think Ashley mentioned it, like, oh, that comes out today, and I'm like, oh, I was going to check that out, so I'll just watch it on Crunchyroll, and then I finished it like Sunday evening.
Damn. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a show like that.
It's like it's the new elfin lead of every episode ending with a, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like literally you can't stop.
It just always ends on a good cliffhanger where you're just like want to throw your monitor and just so you have click play next episode. What the fuck?
It's one of those shows where you're glad you're able to watch it in a binge format and you don't actually have to wait.
So speaking of waiting, the story does not conclude after 13 episodes.
Yep.
Which is kind of my big problem with modern anime, is where they're better about getting second seasons, but then you watch them early and you have to wait years. So, oh god, the wait for this one's going to be agonizing. Because, like, I'm still rating on ReZero Season 2. What the fuck, guys?
Wow, I thought that had actually happened.
It's just announced at this point. But, like, I'm also, like, Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 2 just started airing.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, everything fucking takes forever.
Remember when anime was, like, real easy to watch because it was one season and you were done?
Yeah. Yep. But, a lot of them would have anime original endings that were also often terrible.
Okay, yeah, sometimes.
And then sometimes you got a Soul Eater and people would be mad. It was great, and then people would be mad that it was different from the manga.
Yeah. Soul Eater is weird, though, because that was, like, it just got 50 episodes.
Yep.
Like, even at that point, I don't need more. Like, there's already so much there. And we've watched that one more than once. But, like, when a show just comes out, gets you hooked after 13 episodes, and then leaves you hanging, sucks.
Oh, yeah.
That's the worst thing about the show right now, because otherwise it's super good.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a couple other shows. One of them was straight up trash, and I was very proud of myself for dropping it.
Oh, good. What was it?
Called I wasn't going to talk about it, but it's called Domestic Girlfriend.
That's a really on the nose title.
So I knew this show was going to be trash going in, but I wanted to see if it was funny trash or just bad trash. It was bad trash.
Oh no.
So the premise of this show is that this guy has a fling with a girl at his high school, and then later, like that same day, his dad is like, "Hey, I'm getting remarried. Meet your new mom and her daughter. She's your new sister."
Oh,
and it's the girl he just slept with. Oh yeah, it's real trash.
Good God.
So I knew that was the premise, but then even then, the show still let me down.
It's like, yeah, that's still happening in anime. Good to know. I haven't really missed out on much.
Yeah. The other show I'm watching right now is called The Quintessential Quintuplets.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fairly benign romantic comedy, basically. Like, I almost dropped this one as well, but then I was just like, I could just watch it at work on my laptop, and then I did that, and it kind of fell back into liking it.
You fell into you have Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex on your laptop, and you're not watching that.
I've owned the DVD set for Second Gig for about 7 years. Still have not watched it yet.
Oh wow! That makes me mad too. Wow, I get to be mad at both co-hosts.
Once again,
you get to be mad at both of us.
There's still a chance I watch Second Gig before him, even though I haven't watched the original yet.
Don't watch Second Gig before the first one. That would be real dumb.
No, I'm saying I'll watch the first one and Second Gig before he gets to second. Just like I'm going to finish.
Just like you're going to finish Trails third before John does.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I need to get through all these Type Moon visual novels first.
Exactly. He's wasting his precious life.
There's a 2012 one that's also original characters, and it's not fucking fan translated, and I'm so fucking bummed about it.
And then you've got those 7 movies, Garden of Sinners, to watch.
Yep, I do have those at least. That'll be nice.
Somehow those, I feel, are the least problematic Type Moon things. Like, actually written by Nazu. I don't remember any rape in them.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Just a ringing endorsement.
Yeah, that's fine. But it's also like, I can't be 100% sure. I know the main character is a girl named Shiki.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's just that the main
she has mystic eyes of depth perception.
Oh.
She's just female Shiki. But this actually came first.
The books came first before Tsukihime.
So he's female. He's male Shiki.
Yeah. Maybe it's just... Maybe it's just when he started writing dudes and they were just shitheads. That just opened it up. Yeah. I don't know. No need to derail.
So one last thing. I'm reading a book.
You what?
I'm reading a book.
What?
And it's a sequel to a book that came out last year that I also read and didn't talk about on the podcast.
When did you
just wait.
Okay.
The one that came out last year is called Nier Automata. Long story short.
Nerd.
I saw these, yes.
So Nier Automata, long story short, I bought it just sight unseen, and you know what that fucking book is?
What?
It's a retelling of the game. And it's bad.
Bad!
So I'm reading the second one, which is Nier Automata, short story long.
Uh-huh.
And this one's actually way better because it's original side stories.
Oh, good.
So there's a whole bunch of, short little one-off stories that all make you feel real good by the end, because that's what Yoko Taro does.
That's what Yoko Taro do.
And then about half the book, like it's 200 pages, and about half of it is an A2 backstory story.
Uh-huh.
That makes you feel real good by the end.
Real good.
So if you want a little suffering, oops, there's that word again.
Oh, dang it.
Competent suffering.
Competent suffering. It's
That's
like the main theme today, I think.
Because there are some things that in the game were just never fully elaborated upon.
Mm-hmm.
So like when Tubi says it always ends this way,
yeah,
you never really get a whole lot of context for that. Maybe
you get the general idea of what she means when you know the story.
Well, you get to see a little bit of that story now.
Yeah, it's not... here's a hint. It's very happy.
Very happy. So I haven't finished it yet, but it's an enjoyable little side thing from the game. Whereas the first book was literally just that story, but told worse.
Just bad.
I was so worried that this one was just going to be like the side quests.
Oh
like
God, that would be funny.
It would be funny, but I would have been bummed. This one is like stuff that wasn't just copy pasted from the game, at least.
Yeah.
So it's Nier Automata short story long.
Short
the other one is long story short. You want the one with A2 on the cover.
Cool. Can you read this one without reading the summary one?
I would assume so.
Yeah, because you've played the game. If you haven't played the game, obviously, like there's nothing in the book version that isn't in the game.
Right. Gotcha. All right, cool. Was this legally published?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I saw this was coming out. I didn't know about the first one. I just knew about this one coming out, and I knew that the short stories, like some people had done fan translations online and stuff, but I'd never gotten around to reading them or anything. So
Cool.
This might be worth checking out.
It's a neat little thing. I've heard you two were fans of that game.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan.
Kind of big into Nier Automata. Yeah,
I can't wait to play Nier. I've got it at the ready.
it's a good
I'm
game.
excited about that.
Good game.
Yep. And I've got Dragon Guard 1. I had a friend that sent me his Dragon Guard 1 copy, and the way he talked about it was like he was sending me the cursed video from The Ring. Just like, I am banishing this from my house. It's your problem now.
It's got that same problem all Dragon Guard games have, and it's kind of not really that good.
The big problem of it not being good.
Yeah.
Of it being bad instead of good.
The first one?
Yeah, like, the Dragon Guard games aren't that great.
I would assume the first one probably plays the worst of all of them.
I don't know. Dragon Guard 3 is pretty bad.
Oh, I thought that was the one that was, like, moderately acceptable.
No, that's the one that's like, okay, I like these characters and it's fun, but I don't like engaging with this game at all on a game level.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate, because, the characters make me want to check it out someday.
Yeah, like, just watch the story on YouTube or something. Like, it's real good.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start with 1, y'all. Excited.
Well, you have fun with that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, 2 has like next to no Yoko Taro involvement.
Yeah.
Which is lame.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Is that
So
the Devil May Cry 2 of?
Yeah. It's
Probably.
Yeah.
Ah, well.
Okay, so that's it for me. Polly, what else you got?
I heard a real cool album that released about this time last month, actually.
So it definitely wasn't the new Dream Theater that we never talked about on here.
The new Dream Theater's pretty good. I mean, they found the art of writing songs instead of writing demonstrations of skill.
Yeah. I feel like we just kind of bounced off that and never talked about it.
I bought it, I liked it, and I've probably only listened to it 3 times since I bought it. So.
That's less than me, which is scary because I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Which means I listen to it like 10 times at work because I listen to a lot of music.
Yeah. There was an album I was looking real forward to.
Okay.
That was coming out back when we were doing the last one. And by the time we'd done the previous podcast, hello, phone. Why are you ringing? Hold on, I have actually got to take this.
Okay.
Go for it. Hi, Rhett. Rhett?
Hello? What?
Hi, Rhett.
This is not the podcast.
I know. We're just chatting. Just taking a minute while Polly takes the call. We can hold down the fort here, right?
Endgame spoiler.
Endgame spoiler.
Oh, gotcha. Weren't expecting that. There were literally posters at the movie theater, like, if you spoil Endgame, and then it's a picture of Thanos.
That's really funny.
Really goofy.
How do I subscribe on here?
On what?
On Twitch. I've never done it before.
Oh.
I want to subscribe.
I thought you meant subscribe on Skype. I'm like, what?
No, I want to see if I can surprise Polly in a fun way.
Oh, maybe she might be taking a work call, so maybe not do that.
Not right now. Once we're back in the thick of it.
Okay.
Here are subscriptions. Oh, there's a big button. Nah, I don't want to actually. That's $5 I can spend on anime.
Oh, jeez.
No, wait, they don't. That is basically Crunchyroll though.
Yeah.
I think that went well. I was a little, I think, just always a little bit on edge with Type Moon stuff now, but I think it went smoothly. It was okay.
Hello.
Hi, Polly.
Hi. I don't know what we were talking about.
We had just thrown to you. You were talking. I think you're going to throw to an album. It might be Empath.
Okay, yeah. So, like, by the time, like, we'd done the previous episode, the album was already out, but it'd only been out a couple days, and this is not the kind of album you digest in 2 days? Or one or two listens?
Yeah, I guess we've all actually heard it, so yeah.
Yeah, we've all actually heard it, so I think it's worth talking about.
Basically.
The new Devin Townsend project, Empath.
Cool.
What'd y'all think of that?
I love it a lot.
It's Devin Townsend.
My brother's house yesterday and showed it to him.
Of who?
I visited my brother yesterday, and I was like, "Hey, why don't we put this on for a minute?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan.
Oh, did your brother like it?
Yeah, I put on Y.
Oh yeah, that's a great song. Yep. Probably the best track on the album. Unironically. So yeah, it's a new solo effort from Canada's Devin Townsend, of Strapping Young Lad fame, of the Devin Townsend Project fame, of Devin Townsend Band fame. Guy's done a lot of shit. But this is his latest work, and it's kind of like, I guess, would be kind of like his most mature kind of, as a person, as an artist kind of album. Touches on a lot of that. It's a very uplifting, positive experience, I think.
Agreed.
Very technical, but not in a show-offy, demonstrate-y way.
Cool.
Like, just super good songwriting, great song, like just an intense mix of styles. I think,
yeah.
No argument there, right? I mean, we've got a show tune like right in the middle of the album.
Right in the middle of the prog metal. Yep.
Well, every prog metal has a show tune. Come on.
That is not true.
No.
That's a lot of Dream Theater albums and a lot of Deer Hunter albums.
I don't think a Dream Theater album or a Deer Hunter album has a track like Y on it.
I will admit I've only listened to this once, so it was just a lot to take in, and I'm like, I didn't delete it. I still have it, so I'll listen to it again soon.
It's really good.
I've got it. I've just got like I just listened through that. The Y was the track where I listened to it, and then I was like, let's put that on one more time, even before finishing the album.
I'm not that kind of person. Like, I am the full album experience kind of person. Yep. And like the first time I heard Y, which comes after this 6 minute 30 seconds of screamy death metal 1/32 note, blast beats going off, which Chad Kroeger of Nickelback is a guest on that track, by the way. Just a funny little aside.
That's fucking funny.
Man, it's just like, this was like, the first time I heard this album, I had a very similar experience to the first time I heard Chelsea Wolfe's His Spun, where it was just kind of like completely gobsmacked by the end of it. Mm-hmm. You just kind of sit there for a few minutes, and it's just like, holy shit, that album just happened to me. And it's a lot to take in. But it's very rewarding. It's just continued to be very rewarding on subsequent listens. So yeah, that album's great. Devin Townsend's Empath. I cannot recommend that album enough.
Extremely co-signed. That's the first thing I've been able to put on loop at work when I need to, when I just need to get stuff done. Yeah. Besides like some co-ed and whatnot. So that's cool. Yeah,
that's just probably in there pretty high for album of the year at the end of the year, I'm gonna bet.
Yep.
It had a pretty big impact on me. That was pretty good. What else? What else did I do? Oh, I replayed Final Fantasy 13.
Oh, yes. Exciting.
We didn't talk about that last time because I felt we were going a little over time, but I guess we can sort of dig in now.
Yeah.
I just kind of, I don't know why, I got a weird stick up my ass and was just like, hey, let's replay Final Fantasy 13 for no reason. And weirdly enough, I guess maybe there was just some kind of discourse around it at that point or something, but it's something made me want to kind of jump into and relive that game again, and I kind of hope to actually play through all 3 games in that series at some point this year, because that game still tickles the fan of Xenosaga inside of me.
Ooh, I get you.
It's very ambitious in what it's trying to do. I think people overstate a lot of things about it. Like, they're like, oh man, this game's so proper nouny. They keep talking about things I don't understand, when there's literally only 3 proper nouns you need to know, and they're not.
Okay, what are they?
Okay. You got Fal'Cie. Fal'Cie, they're greater than human comprehension. They are responsible for the world of Cocoon. Think of it that way. And then there are bad Fal'Cie that are from Pulse, which is the world below. And okay, that's it. Okay, then you got l'Cie. l'Cie are people who are given a focus or a mission by a Fal'Cie. Okay, that's not hard.
I literally know all this just through osmosis.
It's not that hard to understand.
It's not hard.
It's literally not. It's not as hard as people make it.
Kingdom Hearts. Nobody's. Continue.
Okay, so you got l'Cie people. Okay, if you're from Cocoon, you're usually tasked with protecting Cocoon, and if you're from Pulse and you're given a focus from a Pulse l'Cie, or from a Pulse Fal'Cie, it's usually destroy Cocoon. Easy. And then you've got Seath. Seath are people who have failed their focus and turned to Crystal, or in some cases have completed their focus and turned to Crystal. That's it. Okay. That's not hard to understand. The rest of it is simply just, we're on the run. Everybody literally wants us dead. We can't stop. and this group of people pulled together who probably necessarily don't like or know each other very well, now that they're all in the same situation and an entire world wants them dead and is putting forth the maximum effort to see that they are dead, have got to find ways to work around the fucking problems they have with one another if they're going to survive. And it's a really good one of those stories.
Cool.
Hope is an okay character. He is a fucking teenager who literally watched his mom die, and now the entire world wants him dead. Please excuse him if that fucked him up a little bit, and he may not be right in the head for a little while. I mean, does that not...
Yeah.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me.
It's just, they get stupid with it, with the Operation Nora thing. Like, they overplay that bullshit a little much, and Snow can be a little much at times, too, with his positivity and, yes, we can do this, we can do that, we're the greatest, we're heroes, and it's just like, but I get it. I know why he's like that, and the game explains why he's like that, and they break that down. You people just kind of... You're doing that thing where you're omitting details where the game is specifically saying and showing you a thing, and you're choosing to willingly ignore it to frame your own narrative. And
I feel how the Tidus laugh scene is deliberately silly and obnoxious, but people just focus on that.
Yeah.
Even though there's context makes sense.
There's context for the Tidus laugh scene being what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just watch that scene, even though I haven't played that game, I understand what they're doing.
Yeah. It's literally laughing because that's all you can do to fucking keep going right now.
Yeah. But people on the internet never mischaracterize or post things without context.
And I find that that's just
willingly
a lot.
Obtuse.
And a lot of the shit that Final Fantasy 13 gets for its linearity, I don't understand why Final Fantasy 10 doesn't, because a lot of that game's areas are very much the same, and there's no world map.
Yep.
And then you get you play through like the one thing that I would give people is the game does spend a long time with you not having a fully assembled party. You don't get everybody pulled together in that storyline until you are about 60% to 70% through it. So you don't have a full party that you can play around with and finally mix and match that isn't predetermined until a long way into that game. And I understand that criticism. I still felt that. It was I would kind of like to have my full party now. So I get you. Then you get the Grand Pulse, and the game, quote-unquote, opens up, but it's just a bunch of missions that I said, I'm going to do a bunch of these. And then I did 4 of them and said, I don't want to do these anymore. So then I went
still didn't do that part. That's funny.
Yeah. I thought I was really going to do it, and then I did like 7 of them, and it was just like, why don't they give me chocobos now so I can make this run between areas? Because it literally will take you like 7 to 10 minutes to run from one area to the next to get to the fucking mark you have to kill, and then to find the next fucking Seath Stone. And it's just like, you needed to give me chocobos from the fucking jump, motherfuckers, to make this work. If I was going to sit here and fucking do this, you needed to fucking give me a chocobo from the get-go. Also, the weapon system in that game is stupid and completely convoluted in a way that no weapon system should ever be convoluted.
Gotcha.
So I will explain it to you.
Dude, go for it.
So every piece of equipment in that game can be upgraded from the terminal. When you go to a save point, you go and you just upgrade your weapons. You have organic components that you can use to upgrade, and you have mechanical components you can use to upgrade.
Makes sense so far.
Right. Every weapon starts at level 1 and can go up a number of levels determined by the piece of gear it is. They're not all the same. They're like, some can be leveled up to level 5, some can be leveled up to 70. You don't know, and the game doesn't surface this information.
Okay.
That's part 1 of the oh no, that's bad.
Because you don't know how much, if you're sinking
resources
you don't know
into
if
this,
you don't know if it's gonna scale up to the whole game or not.
Yeah, and the game doesn't tell you if you're just dumping too much experience into a weapon. It'll just let you do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, to upgrade a weapon, to start giving a weapon experience, you have to use organic components to build up a multiplier.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
In order to... Could you repeat that sentence?
Okay.
Any
item you put on you use to put experience onto a weapon will give it experience. But the way to do this frugally, to best spend your resources, is to start with organic components to build a multiplier up to 3, so that you get a ×3 bonus for everything you put into the weapon afterward.
Okay, so if you start with certain components, you can make leveling up faster with your other components.
Yes.
Easy.
So
totally
you go.
get it.
So mechanical components give the most experience. They're where you're going to get the bulk of your level ups for your weapons. So you have to give it to them in bulk, because once you use mechanical weapons to upgrade, you lose the multiplier.
Oh.
So
there's some push-pull there.
You really have to fucking know, and the game does not surface the information, what the max level of your equipment is, how much experience you need to dump into this thing, how much money you need to spend on parts. And, like, the game doesn't surface that information at all. And it's just, like, it's great that all of the weapons and equipment are so varied, because you can really get a lot of interesting and customized builds out of characters just based on the weapon you choose to upgrade. But there's not enough resources that you won't have to stop and grind if you actually want to try and, like, experiment. You have to kind of decide early on, what set of bonuses do I like and how do I want to build this character, because now I'm going to focus on this weapon. So, like, every weapon in the game is very unique. Like, they have varying and unique sets of abilities that you get, for using them, but you kind of, like, there's not a lot of leeway in you testing those waters a bit to see, like, okay, do I like this or not, or how's this going to feel when it levels up? What kind of bonuses does it get when it levels up? You kind of just have to shot in the dark everything and then just reload if you get it wrong.
That's what I was about to say. Like, this sounds like you save before it, and then you just do it, and then you restart the game.
Or you go to a wiki and you pull up a spreadsheet and you say, all right, I know how much experience I need to give this dumb bangle to give me haste at the start of every fight.
Yeah,
so
that sounds...
Admittedly,
that sounds like the main thing.
That's a very bad system, and they did away with it in 2. So they got rid of all of that bullshit in 13.2.
It wasn't in 3 either.
No, no, they've simplified everything moving forward after that. But I still enjoy Final Fantasy 13.
Is the fighting fun?
The fighting was still good. I still don't think that game is as mash auto battle as people make it out to be, because there were a few times I tried to do that, got my fucking shit kicked in. You've just got to be really fast at entering commands. You've got to know the class that you are, and you've got to know where. And like, there's some people don't know, you can like actually just hold right on the command list, and it'll repeat your last set of actions. So if you need to like keep repeating the chain of things that you just entered, you can just like hold right, and it'll like highlight an option that says repeat, and your character will just do the set of actions that you had recently performed. And like having to switch your paradigms and shit, like I was still totally into the idea of every character being multiple classes, and then you having like this deck of mixtures of those classes to switch through during the course of a battle, because some fights are literally you're going to need to use all of those fucking slots, because you're going to need healers, you're going to need buffers, you're going to need debuffers, you're going to need DPS, you're going to need to raise the chain gauge. Like you're bouncing around in that like system a lot, and to hear people say that all you have to do is sit there and press auto battle, like, I don't know how you beat that game without engaging in the deeper mechanics or selecting better options. Like auto battle can make good decisions. It doesn't make stupid decisions, and especially if you've used a Libra scope on an enemy and you know it's shit, the game will pick the best things, but there are nuances that you can engage with to get better chain bonuses that auto battle doesn't account for. That you can enter commands in a specific way that will get you a better bonus in the end for having performed the actions in the way you did it. So, like, cool. I and sometimes that's just super imperative, because there are some bosses that will literally just eat your entire asshole if you don't fucking, like, engage with that system properly.
I can vibe with that. I think the thing I bounced off hearing it was that you heal up after every fight. Like, that's a little sad.
Well, I think that just due to the nature of all of the fights, like, even normal fights are pretty difficult in that game, and it's pretty easy to just fucking get completely wiped on normal enemy encounters if you're not careful.
Cool. Yeah, but then I played, like, Chain of Memories recently, and, like, there's no resource management in that game, basically, but the fights themselves are these really involved, cool systems, and I had a great time playing that game, even if a lot of the fights wound up getting a little repetitive. Like, I just enjoyed messing with that system. Yeah. So that's part of what opened my heart to this.
And with Final Fantasy 13 healing you after every fight, like, I kind of like already had that kind of experience because I played the original Labyrinth of Toho before this, and that game does the same thing, and it's very focused on just very hard fights that, okay, you came out, you won, good job. We're gonna heal you up because because you're still dealing with resource management, because you still gotta fucking use potions and shit in battle. Like, the game's going to kick your shit in. Like, enemies don't Like a lot of the enemies in Final Fantasy 13 don't just fucking play around. They're not passive.
I appreciate that. I can definitely vibe with that. When I bought this, you commented on my Steam thing like, "What? This isn't a John game."
Yeah, that was weird.
Do you have any elaboration there?
Pardon?
Like, do you have any elaboration there, like why this strikes you as not a John game?
Because you dropped it once already.
Oh.
I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, first of all, this is a game by a AAA developer, John Thayer. What are you doing? But second of all, I know that you had this on PS3, and I know you dropped it ages ago.
Yeah, but I was also, that was 2010, and I was just, devouring Pat's stuff wholesale, and I wasn't really thinking for myself. Mm-hmm. Like, now I feel like I would have a completely different experience jumping in now.
I still feel like I'm the only person that really, really liked that game back in the day. Mm-hmm. Like, I was the only one going to bat for it. I was just like, I like it. It's good. And I, read Pat's article, and I'm just like, all right, I'll put this on my website.
So, I feel much more open-hearted to it now, and I think I was having a fine time. I just kind of realized, oh, it's cool to not like this, so I'm going to join in on that. Like... I think it was as simple as that.
It's like I don't think that I don't think that it's as strong to me as the Xenosaga series is, because I connect a lot more with that world and those characters, but I still really like the characters and the setting and what Final Fantasy 13 is doing overall. Like it clicks for me, and that's all I can really say. It's like, hey, I like my pops. I don't know.
I think if I play it and I like the characters and their journey and I like the fighting, then I'll have a great time. Like, I think that's basically it.
It's like, for me, like, a lot of people are just like I see people complain about various specific things about certain characters in that game, and every time it's just like, well, I mean, the game gives you context for the reason Lightning's pissed off, or why Hope is, like, really fucked up and not acting like a rational person right now. Is, you know, it's just like, it's like, yeah, I get, you know, and there's like, hey, I get being pissed off at Snow because he's overly positive and he's kind of a dummy, but there is a reason for it. I understand not liking Vanille for certain reasons, but it's just like, I think that game does a good job of explaining itself and those characters and their situation. It may not be like the most deep kind of like trails in the sky kind of motivations you're gonna have, and it definitely drops the ball here and there in terms of some plot holes. It's just like, but I still think that it's totally fine as an RPG. I still had a good time. I'm not sure, like, I mean, you want to make the argument this isn't Final Fantasy, but like, what is Final Fantasy anymore?
That doesn't hold at all.
Because like, if that's not Final Fantasy, like, is Final Fantasy 15? Is Final Fantasy 15 Final Fantasy? Because that certainly didn't feel Final Fantasy to me.
Like, that's another thing, is I did play and enjoy all of 15, and like, I'm pretty sure this is probably better because that game's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
The fact that I enjoyed FF15, where the fighting is bad and the story is like hacked apart.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I guess my heart is open to this now.
Interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting if you decide to revisit that.
And because I played a bunch of Lightning Returns and loved it, I kind of realized I want to go into it with the context of the preceding games.
Like, even if it's stupid, and I fully acknowledge that. Like, that's the thing is, too, like, I fully acknowledge that Final Fantasy 13's story is stupid. Like, I fully acknowledge that. It's not great material. It's very anime. It's blown out and ridiculous in all the ways that I just happen to enjoy.
Yeah.
You're saying anime is stupid?
Anime is very stupid.
I had a friend where I said something about a game, and he was like, well, you know, John, not everything is going to be as smart and well-crafted as Trails in the Sky. And I was like, yep. That's just like my guiding life is just like, well, it's not Trails in the Sky, but you know what is? It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't expect everything to be that.
So I think we get to end this episode on a good note.
Yeah.
That was good. Nobody else have anything they want to discuss? Are we done here?
Chew through all three of those golden items there.
Yeah. All right, then.
So Polly, what you playing next?
What am I playing next?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You gotta figure it out.
I do.
You do.
I got a lot of time.
Yep.
I got a lot of time and not a whole lot of other things to be doing. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. There'll be an episode in 2 weeks. We'll figure out what I've done with my time then.
Oh my god.
All right. So thanks again, everybody, for coming out or downloading and listening. We always appreciate it. John Thayer, let the fine folks at home know where to find you.
Farawaytimes.itch.io.
Rhett.
Is my website even still up?
I don't even know at this point.
Probably, but still not updated. Inconsequentialexistence.com.
And you can find my dumb website where you got this dumb podcast. How do you find this dumb podcast if you don't know where my site's at? That'd be weird. That'd be weird. So yeah, tune in next time. Remember, we are the podcast that loves you. We are the only ones that love you. All right. That's good. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Endgame spoiler.
Endgame spoiler. Boom, he did it again. Damn, you just can't control Rhett. You can't take him anywhere.
Honestly.
Thanks,
All
everybody,
he has time to read
for...
Homestuck.
I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you again for the subscriptions, the bits. They're always appreciated. They made me laugh a lot.
Yep.
Made me laugh a lot. I didn't change the bit one. I thought I did. I'll have to work on that. Thank you for the more bits, Tengu Gemini. Always appreciated. Y'all stick around. I'm going to find somewhere to kick you on over to a host. I think I'm probably just going to send you right over to Retrothon, though, because they're getting ready to wrap up. They're getting ready to wrap up Retrothon, which has been an awesome 8-day retro gaming speedrun experience put on by a really awesome community who I happen to have a lot of friends in. So y'all have a good night and enjoy Retrothon. I do believe they're playing Symphony of the Night, so you'll probably enjoy that. So we will catch you all next time. Later.